talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With your headlines, it's just coming up to 2 minutes past 10. I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. One of the best performances I've seen from a right back. That from Ricky Lambert this morning on Conor Bradley's outstanding 90 minutes in the win over Real Madrid. Lambert was pleased with how Robertson played as well.
He sat a little bit more, didn't he? He covered the centre-backs, which I wanted to see. And I think you called it last week as well, that Gravenberch, how good has he been since he's come back in?
Liverpool restricted Real Madrid to 2 shots on target as Courtois made a string of saves. Following Liverpool's 1-0 win, Jamie O'Hara's wondering if there's a place for Alexander Isak in Slot's resurgent side.
And if you're going to play, Florian Wirtz off the left, where he looked all right tonight, he can get into areas and find pockets, and then all of a sudden you've got that free in midfield who's got energy. I'm looking at going, Isak don't play.
Now, days after blanking his boss, Mickey van der Ven's delighted Thomas Frank by turning into Lionel Messi.
I think he's our top scorer in all competitions, so he can keep going. He can keep, by the way, walking past me if he's angry after a game, if you deliver like this.
Van der Ven ran the length of the pitch to score a goal of the season contender as Spurs beat Copenhagen 4-0. Meanwhile, Destiny Dogi's been named as the footballer allegedly threatened by an agent with a gun. He's being supported by Spurs. And Nick Kyrgios has told us he's treating his upcoming Battle of the Sexes as just another tennis match at the end of December in Dubai. The former Wimbledon finalist takes on Arina Sabalenka.
She's the number 1 player in the world. Like, she's very capable, you know what I mean? And so at the same time, it's not easy. Like, there's going to be millions of people watching this. If I don't get a good start or if she breaks my serve early, like, it's going to feel like the world's on my shoulders.
Sabalenka has promised to kick Kyrgios's butt in the showcase next month.
talkSPORT News.
Spotting fake news is set to be taught in primary schools, and mobile phone networks are joining forces to crack down on spam calls. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, where we've got more premium tyres than the number of times you'll hear, "Ooh, it's a bit nippy this winter." Book today at quickfit.com.
Quite a lot of rain about, especially in the north and west. Brighter spells elsewhere. Very mild and quite breezy today.
Good morning, everybody. You're listening to Jim White, Simon Jordan and Danny Murphy, and we are live on talkSPORT. So Liverpool deservedly beat Real Madrid. Has it been a restorative week for Slot? Meantime, have Arsenal become a defensive freak? Also today, was a more handbrake-off performance just what Thomas Frank needed at Tottenham? Is Erling Haaland the humble one? Why are European nights easier for players to get up for? And as Ronaldo takes another swipe, is it a strange notion to claim the Premier League needs a strong Manchester United? This is Jim White, Simon Jordan and Danny Murphy, and we're all live on talkSPORT.
100% engagement.
Jim White and Simon Jordan on talkSPORT.
Now, spare a thought for Mr. Danny Murphy, because Simon, while you and I were in our respective apartments getting off to sleep, Danny was trying to get home. And Danny was hit with roadblocks, all sorts of nonsense going on to your route home after your game at Tottenham last night. You're on duty for talkSPORT. You get into the car and then you're sent all over the place. It's not on, Danny.
It's not on, but it's part of the job, isn't it? They decided to close 2 lanes on the A13.
Well, public transport is not good enough for you.
I can't travel on public transport.
No. Coming from you, that's rich.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, man.
No, I kind of messed up the diary when I agreed to do the Tottenham game. I didn't realise it was the same night as Liverpool-Madrid, so I was kind of watching that on an iPad. And watching the Tottenham game. But Tottenham did better, actually. It was a decent performance from them, although the opposition was, let's say, below average.
Yeah.
From what I'm led to believe, Liverpool had their best performance of the season, so that's good for them. And
well, I mean, they won, and I was delighted about that. I was very disappointed in Real Madrid, Simon. I don't know if you locked into it last night, but I'm pleased for Liverpool. I'm pleased for Slot.
Are you?
Trent? Yeah. I wasn't pleased at the reception Alexander-Arnold got.
It was inevitable, though, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but was it? And why should it be? I mean, I found it absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I think one of the problems with it is that if I think back to my first year at Liverpool when Manaman Scouser seen out his contract to go to Madrid, there was a little bit of discontent, but nothing like this. And mainly, I think
social media has become more prevalent, hasn't it?
That's exactly right. You've got social media, the frenzy around football now. Every day it's talked about.
And the benefit of that is that the game gets bigger, richer, and the players benefit from it.
Yeah.
I mean, you listen to certain Liverpool fans, they will believe fundamentally to their core that Trent Alexander-Arnold curated an outcome that only benefited himself and didn't allow Liverpool to put in a situation where perhaps Real Madrid had to bid something for him.
Yeah.
And so they might have some legitimacy about that. But he's not Trent Alexander-Arnold's job to protect Liverpool. It's Liverpool's job to protect themselves. The flip side of the conversation is, so what if a few people give you a boo? You made a choice.
Yeah, you got to lie.
You choose to go somewhere else.
Oh, you've got to own it.
And so with that in mind,
yeah.
I mean, I find this race to the bottom to feel some sort of deep-seated sentiment of sympathy for Trent Alexander-Arnold. He made a choice to go to Real Madrid. He made a choice to better himself, and I'm sure he bettered himself financially. And if a few Liverpool fans who live their life vicariously through their club, who believe every aspect of their club is sacrosanct to everything that's important in their life, feel that Trent Alexander-Arnold has betrayed them, you can't have emotion in football, Jim. You can't just say, well, I only want that kind of emotion, but not that kind.
I agree, Simon, but the day started with his mural being defaced. It was all a bit classless.
Yeah.
And you said yesterday Liverpool fans are better than that.
They should be, yeah.
They should be.
But we aren't the arbiters of how people should express their emotions, good and bad. We talked about the fans before, when COVID was in play and everyone was talking about how important the fans were and how soulless the football was without fans inside the stadium. It comes with two price tickets.
True.
One that's good and one that's bad, and nobody complains about the good.
Yeah, yeah. Tony, Liverpool fan. Morning, guys. Jim, Liverpool fans don't care what you think. Never did. Well, fair enough, Tony. Fair enough. But it's not going to stop me saying that I thought last night the reception that Alexander-Arnold got was classless.
He cares enough to text you, though.
Yes, that's true.
I think more importantly, Jim, was the recent concerns about the football on the pitch, irrelevant to Trent, have been put to bed temporarily.
Well, they got away with it against Villa.
First 20 minutes, started the game well, but overall the performance...
Got a big helping hand from the goalkeeper.
Well, on that, Danny, reverting to type, was going back always going to be a formula for Slot to move forward, and I mean by that, Robertson was back, the midfield trio, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, McAllister, back they came, they got a result.
Well, he has brought them back before and they haven't got a result, but yeah, ultimately he's gone back to a more safe team that he trusts and who understand what's needed, but... The bigger picture is the new signings at some point, how they get back in, who do they come in for, all those things. But that's not something that should be overly thought about right now because they were in such a bad run of form. All he had to do, his main job was to get them back on track and back in contention.
Yeah.
So he's done that. And things tend to look after themselves, Jim. It's like people I was listening, I think Jamie was saying before, wasn't he? Oh, he sat well getting the team.
What do you think about this? Once he's fit, does he get straight back in?
It wouldn't even be in my head if I was Slot because he's probably another 2-3 weeks away from getting fit again. So he's going to start on the bench. And sure as anything, players get injured and suspensions.
Yeah.
Ekitike will pick up he could get an injury on Sunday against Man City and they've got no striker.
Yeah.
So it just works itself out. The great thing for Liverpool in the striker department is they've got two really good strikers.
Yeah.
So let's not worry about who plays when.
Yeah, but if he's available to you, you cannot have £125 million worth of players sitting on the bench, can you?
Well, you can if he's not up to it and not playing well for temporarily. You can.
Not up to it.
You cannot have in whose mind, the player's mind or the owner's mind. Whose mind are we talking about? Because the owner wants a team to be winning, and so ultimately he wants a team on the field. Are we talking about managing the players' expectations, or are we talking about managing the expectations of whom? Media and owner.
Right now has got no argument to say he should be playing, because A, he's not fit, and B, when he has been fit, he's not played as well as Ekitike. So when he gets himself fit and he starts playing well, and he comes off the bench and scores, and Ekitike has a bad few game, and all of a sudden he goes in and it flips, then we'll see. But Isak's quality is undoubted.
Yeah.
So he'll get himself fit, he'll get himself right, and then there'll be a conundrum. And that's fine to have, especially if you're successful and doing well in both all the competitions.
I just think you don't break that kind of record and smash the transfer record in terms of the fee and say, there you go, take your place in the bench.
No, the obvious plan was to get him in to start him,
Yeah. Anyway, Liverpool won it. The bottom line is they won it and Real Madrid lost it. This was Arne Slot post-match.
Impressive, because we played against an incredible side, team that's in an unbelievable run of form. Only lost once, won all the other games. So yeah, if you then can win against them, but also with the performance we had, that's very positive. But apart from everything we can say, we beat them because of a set piece. So it's nicer to talk about this if you win, because if you lose, people come up with that I try to find excuses. But a positive set-piece balance is the minimum you need to get a result 9 out of 10 times, and that's what we had today.
Are we agreed that Slot needed this? Has it been a restorative week?
Well, it will be less so if they go and lose at Man City on Sunday, but it's a great start. 2 good performances, 2 clean sheets, 2 decent performances. I thought where he was clever last night, and when I saw the team, Madrid played Valverde right back, super athlete, big, strong. I think that was Alonso thinking Trent might struggle with Gakpo's pace and physicality. He didn't even play Gakpo, played Virgil off the left and let him go wandering, which caused Madrid problems. I thought that was a clever little tactical tweak from Slot. And I think that if they go to Man City and avoid defeat, then yeah, you can say it's been a turning point for them. They looked physically better from what I saw.
I mean, it was a run of 6 defeats and 7, Simon.
Yeah, I'm assuming that Real Madrid played the way that Slot wanted them to play, so that the outcome was important for
they were always going to, weren't they?
Yeah, because obviously we've been listening to Slot telling us that ultimately it's the way the other sides play. Well,
if you're alluding to the fact when he's asked a question about what went wrong or how did the game go, and then he explains it, then yeah, but
I'm alluding to the fact that against 2 or 3 oppositions, he's complained about the opposition.
He hasn't complained.
He has. He's made it a point of reference that the.
I'd love you to find a quote where he's saying he's complaining about it.
Well, how do you define a complaint?
Well, you say I don't like it.
Well, that's what he said.
No, he didn't.
He criticised the opposition by suggesting, by inference, it was a criticism.
That's your interpretation.
Oh, he was quick to tell us, Danny.
It's a reasonable interpretation.
He came out and explained it.
He didn't like it.
He didn't like it. Simon's got a point. He was quick to tell us. You know.
I think if you go back and listen to the interviews, you won't find any reference saying, I don't like it and I'm complaining about it.
Oh, by the very nature of referencing it, I think you can draw the inference that he doesn't much appreciate it, because the expectation must be, because the alternative argument is, play the way I like.
No, but when you're asking...
He's explaining why... He's not explaining why his team couldn't break that down. He's explaining that the opposition set up in a certain way, which his team didn't much appreciate because they couldn't overcome it.
He didn't say didn't much appreciate. He said we couldn't find a way. We couldn't find a way to counteract it. He's saying what happened. He was actually giving himself, criticising himself.
No, he said if teams. He actually talked about Man United and said this is what they've come down to.
No, he didn't say that.
Did he?
Did not.
I think to be fair,
he did not say this is what they've come to. He did not. I've watched it 2 or 3 times.
Okay, fine.
And you know
what? Played long balls.
He did play long balls. He did say that. But then, even that same week, he had to go back.
Let's get the exact verbiage, shall we?
Yeah, let's. Because I'm telling you, he didn't say that. I know for a fact he didn't.
Danny, there's Matt, the Burnley fan. Guys, honestly, Slot absolutely was complaining.
Yeah, you can interpret it as complaining. Some of them
you don't want to. It doesn't suit your argument.
No, but I'm saying
we happen to be objective.
I said
it did.
I said,
and we're not even football. We have
no skin in the game.
We've no skin in the game.
You.
The first thing I said to you last week or the week before was that ideally you wouldn't want to hear your manager talking about what the opposition do. I agree, because it does sound a bit whiny
and complaining.
But when he readdressed it, when asked about this in a conference, he explained himself and actually made sense.
But what's helped him is the last 2 wins, Villa and Real Madrid didn't play direct.
Of course.
So that's helped him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
my original
and you'll probably get the same on Sunday against City.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, but nothing Slot can do about that.
No, just this team has to do better to break down opposition that doesn't want to play the way you want them to play.
Correct, but he said that. That's exactly what he said.
Certainly, you could argue, though, undoubtedly, that it's been a restorative week for Arne Slot, and he needed those wins.
He actually said...
It's breaking out again, folks.
The fact that Man U played so many long balls and caused us problems with that, he was delighted at how many chances they made against that system because they haven't made that many chances.
Do you know what we can do in the break? We can find it.
Find it.
We'll find it.
Find it.
Let's find it. And we'll.
So what do you think he said?
No, we'll see it when it comes out, won't we?
Yeah, we'll
see
hear
it when
it.
it comes out. Actually, Wayne Rooney had a nibble, though, did he not? More than a nibble at Van Dijk and Salah of late. That was after the game against Brentford, a game that Brentford won against Liverpool. And then last night, after Liverpool beat Real Madrid, Van Dijk and Rooney came face to face because Rooney was on TV duty last night and Van Dijk spoke post-match. That got very interesting as well. Let's find out what Slot did actually say during this break. We'll find it. Don't worry. We'll find it. Fireworks night, November the 5th. It is Jim White, Simon Jordan and Danny Murphy. We're live on talkSPORT. A little bit of fireworks, even this early on in the show this morning. Not even half an hour in.
Semantics, we're calling it.
Semantics, okay. Danny Murphy in studio with Simon and myself this morning. Got into the break there, Simon and Danny. You could say we're discussing whether or not Arne Slot had been complaining about how other teams had played against them of late, notably Manchester United. Simon was suggesting that Slot has been moaning and that really it was more to do with Liverpool. It's up to Liverpool, really, according to Simon, to overcome the opposition.
This is what United have come to.
Slot is saying, I'm trying to get there, Danny. Slot is saying, of course, no. It's about how other teams have been playing against us. Focus on that. So focusing on the United performance against Liverpool, in particular, a game that United won by 2-1. This was Slot's take on that post-match.
I think if you play United with so many quality players they have, brought in a few new ones this summer, and if they come to us in a low block, playing so many lone balls, then the last thing you would want is going 1-0 down, because that gives them even more belief. And if you would have told me that we were 1-0 down against a United team that played in the style they did, and you would have told me that we would have created 8, 9, 10 open chances, then I would have said to you that I don't think that is possible. But it was possible. So the second thing that went wrong is that from all the chances we got, we only scored 1 goal. And I've said in Holland many times, and maybe I've said it here as well, it's almost impossible to win a big game of football. And Liverpool is a big game with so many quality players on the pitch, to win it with a negative set-piece balance.
To win it with a negative set-piece balance. You're kind of both right in a way. Well, he did. But you heard him there, Danny, saying it's more really how United played us.
The reality
it's more really about their approach.
The reality is, he is cleverly having a little dig. That's fair.
Yeah.
I was simply saying...
You were right, the semantics of it, but I have a superpower,
he's
which
clever.
is interpreting what people really mean.
No,
so I was superimposing that over it.
What I took from that is what he's saying is, when a team plays that way and you go a goal down, we still make a load of chances where we should have won the game, right?
Yeah.
So spin it into a positive. Fine. It sounds like he's whinging because it came on top of the Palace stuff... A bit of Burnley stuff, yeah. And that's fair. Of course, it's fair. Let's be honest about it. But he's quite clever in the way he's worded that, and I don't think people jumped on it because Man U beating Liverpool. Of course, it's a big game.
Yeah,
he didn't actually directly say that he was disappointed United.
But it is a duck, isn't it? It does walk like a duck and talk like a duck, so it's a duck, isn't it? He was doing that. If I repackaged the question to you and say, was he having a go about Man United and looking how far they tried?
If I
think he was?
If I come on here and said that somebody was saying definitive things and it was wrong, you'd say probably playing devil's advocate because you're good at it and you do it. Mm-hmm. You'd probably say to me, didn't actually say that, Danny.
Very true.
You could interpret it a different way.
Okay, the scorecards are in from the judges. Murphy and Jordan is a draw.
That means we've got to have a rematch.
Wayne Rooney, after Liverpool lost at Brentford, Wayne Rooney was saying this is a time when the manager and the leaders in the team need to figure it out, and quickly. Van Dijk and Salah, they've signed new deals, but I don't think they've really led that team this season. I think body language tells you a lot. They're two top players, but their body language is not right. That affects everyone else. I might be wrong in this, but if I was a Liverpool fan or a manager, this would be a big concern for me. So that stuck in the mind of Virgil van Dijk. And last night, this noise, as Van Dijk called it, he decided to have a bit of a go back at Wayne, because he was asked if that noise, and he was speaking on Amazon Prime, if the noise had affected him. This is Virgil.
I can say, for me personally, it doesn't affect me, but obviously I'm dealing as a captain with players that might be affected about it. So you have to...
Has the criticism and some of it been fair, do you think?
Of course. Just if you lose a game as a Liverpool player 4 or 5 in a row, then there's a fair criticism. That is absolutely normal in that sense. But I think it's over the top at times as well at that point. But listen, that's because we live in a world that with so many platforms, so many people can say stuff and will be picked up and made bigger than what else. But I think it's good that especially ex-players that play at the highest level played at the top that dealt with difficult moments as well to put also a lot of things in perspective, I think.
I'm not saying it no more because I think I've spared them on. I think we've put them on a winning streak. But no, I think when you win the Premier League, and I think what I've said, it was fair, when you win the Premier League and then you go on a run where you lose 3-4 games in a row, which you don't expect from Liverpool over the last few years. And then as Virgil as you as the captain, I think that's your opportunity then to go and lead the players in. And that's what I was saying. I think that happens in football. And I think the response has been great from Virgil, from the team. So
I think if you would watch games, then I would definitely take the responsibility. I think the comment about that I signed my new deal, and then it's like, that's it, and I'll let it slide. I think that was a bit. But that's my personal opinion.
That was all on Amazon Prime last night. Danny, do players take it more personally when it comes from one of their own?
Yeah.
The fact that came from Rooney on Van Dijk, you could see Van Dijk's uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, I think so. And also the content of the topic, because he's not talking about Virgil having a bad day, or he's talking about him changing his mindset because he's got this big super deal contract. And I think that would prickle most people. And then he's put in a position where he stood next to him. I think he coped with it quite well. The fact is, Virgil's had a couple of big moments that have gone against him, like the poor bit of defending for United first goal. Brentford, he didn't have his best day overall. That's probably their worst performance this season. But it was only, the Arsenal performance at home, Virgil was being lauded. Newcastle away, he got man of the match, he was being lauded. Their games after the contract being signed. So I think what he's saying there is, Wayne, if you watch all the games, I don't mind a player coming out, shows a bit of character, what do you want? He could have not, a lot of players, I'm telling you now, if they'd have said, Rooney's on the panel, you got to go out and talk, they'd have gone, nah.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
But players of substance. I mean, Virgil van Dijk.
That's what I'm saying. He's got
Virgil
substance.
van Dijk has substance. I mean, the only thing with Wayne Rooney is that Wayne has every right to say what he wants to say. He's got to stand it up. And there was an opportunity for him to stand it up, and he could have turned around to Virgil van Dijk. And they don't really want to engineer a confrontation, although it would be good for broadcasting.
Yeah.
For Wayne to turn around and say, well, here's the reasons why. Here's the reasons why. Because ultimately, I saw a Liverpool team that was in disarray. You're arguing amongst yourselves. You look massively out of sorts, and I think it's a fair comment. It's a bold statement to say. You're questioning someone's integrity.
Yeah.
Not their performance. You're questioning their integrity.
Do you know where it come from with Wayne? I think the body language one was the reaction to the United first goal, where Virg got caught asleep.
Yeah.
And he didn't get back in.
Yeah.
And people have jumped on that and go, his body language. The majority of Liverpool performances, Virgil's been one of the best players. He's had unlike him, a couple of poor games.
Yeah.
But generally, it's not a physical thing. That's just maybe on the day or whatever. I don't think I've seen a lack of. I mean, if you saw his performance in Newcastle, that's not a player lacking desire and will, and the performance against Arsenal
comes back though. On what a pundit has said,
I don't think
even if it's Wayne, it's good that he comes back.
Wayne wouldn't mind either.
Of course.
I think it's healthy, and it's what fans want to see. Players having some character these days and some substance, and the ability to disagree.
Media managed, and all that stuff. And
have you been challenged quite a lot? Have players, the odd player, rounded on you about something you said along the way?
I've had a couple of phone calls in the past.
A phone call?
Yeah, quietly, privately, no problem.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can learn from it as well, because your choice of words can be a little bit cutting or derogatory at times. I mean, obviously, Simon wouldn't know about that. He never does that to anyone.
I can stand it up, though.
What about you? When you played, did you get in touch with a pundit?
No.
And say, what are you on about me?
No, that's not me.
No.
I would never do that. Because I've always felt that if someone says something derogatory about me as a player or as a pundit or what I'm doing now, by speaking about it and responding to it, I'm justifying their opinion and giving it credence.
Yeah.
I'd rather just say I don't care what your view is of me. I'm okay.
Sure. Right. I can see a number of messages from Liverpool fans as to why they booed Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's so monotonously boring now. I don't think we're even going to bother with it. But what we will do is, after the 10:30 bulletin, we will go in this direction. After 6 defeats and 7, it's now 2 wins out of 2. Was this a restorative week for Arne Slot? In other words, did he need this and need this like hell? And I would say, yeah, he did. And he got it. Because Liverpool beat Real Madrid by a single goal to 0. Come on and tell us what you think. Give us a call, 03717 223344 81089. It is Wednesday morning at 10:30.
Trent Alexander-Arnold? Who needs him with Liverpool playing like that? Arne Slot is sounding much more positive after that win over Real Madrid. He was impressed with how his side shut out the incredible Mbappe and Vinicius.
Their deep runs, timing of deep runs, their pace is next level. So don't give away any space in behind, and that's what our last line did very well.
Slot also called Conor Bradley's 90 minutes outstanding, while the Daily Mail's Dom King told us last night was one in the eye for anyone doubting Andy Robertson.
He was never finished. Never in a million years was he finished. And every time Andy Robertson has been in the team this year, or whenever, Liverpool are an infinitely better side.
A great night for Spurs as well, and Thomas Frank says Mickey van de Ven can blank him all season if he keeps doing that.
But it seems like we had Lionel Messi turned into Mickey van de Ven. I think he's our top scorer in all competitions, so he can keep going. He can keep, by the way, walking past me if he's angry after a game, if he deliver like this.
Spurs smashed Copenhagen 4-0. Meanwhile, Destiny Udogie is receiving support from Tottenham after he was named as the footballer allegedly threatened by an agent with a gun. And in the Championship, Leicester fans booed their team off again after conceding late in a 1-1 draw with Middlesbrough. There's more at talksport.com.
Good morning, everybody. November the 5th, it's Jim White, Simon Jordan and Danny Murphy this Wednesday morning with you all the way through until 1 o'clock. James McClean, the Wrexham winger, often in the news, has been accused of punching a Cardiff City supporter in a car park. A bit of an unseemly confrontation. James has got back in touch with me, as he does, and he gives me his version of events, but trouble is never too far away from James, wherever he goes. And I will bring you James's version of events later on this morning, because you want to give it a bit of balance, and I think that does. In the meantime, what about Liverpool? I've seen a message go through there, Paul, from Liverpool. Jim, Simon, you're looking at the negatives from last night, concentrating the positives. I think we are, to be quite honest. Liverpool won the football match, and I'm delighted about it, Paul. And there were many things that Liverpool did right and Liverpool did well, and in fact, they scored a goal and Real Madrid didn't. So they won the game. So at the end of the day, that's why Liverpool are sixth this morning in this new look Champions League format table, and all credit to them. But was it a restorative performance, a restorative few days for Arne Slot? He needed this, did he not? After 6 defeats out of 7, it's 2 wins out of 2, so it's going in the right direction, or is it? Chris is a big Liverpool fan. Chris, good morning. Danny's here, so too is Simon. What do you want to say?
Hi guys, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Morning, Chris.
So for restorative, the word itself is basically, I mean, what does it mean? We've won our last 2 games, and that's been on the end of obviously a number of really bad results for us. I don't think we're going to really know until we played City away and maybe another couple of games after that, where we can actually gauge it better. But in relation to the performance against Villa was good. Wasn't brilliant, but it was good. But you know, I watched the game last night on the telly, and I thought we were immense. I honestly did. All over the pitch, and I thought Conor Bradley was unbelievable.
Absolutely.
I think that's the best game I've actually seen him playing. But yeah, to come back to your point, I mean, we've got Man City away our next game, so it's kind of one of them. I mean, I think if we can get something out of that, then I'll be a lot more happier.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Chris, actually, isn't it, Danny?
Yeah, well, I think what you're alluding to is the fact that a lot of the bad results and bad performances come away from Anfield. There's a comfort playing at Anfield. The only game they've lost at Anfield was Man U, where they made enough chances to win 3 games.
They got battered by Palace in the League Cup, didn't they?
Yeah, but that was with the kids. So I meant, yeah, good point. But you know what I mean, with the first team out. So away from home has been where a lot of the problems have lied, in the fact that, you know, you're going to get put under the cosh more. You're going to play in a different environment. Some of the new players have struggled with that expectation, with that Liverpool shirt. So City is a really big test.
Yes.
Now, the difficulty around playing 3 big games in a week is, you know, making sure the players are ready physically and mentally to play another big game. But you can't complain about that because City got to play tonight against Dortmund, who are no mugs. So from a physical point of view, they're in the same boat anyway.
Yeah.
So it's ultimately a real test for Liverpool's discipline and for their structure. It's going to be fascinating to see what team he plays. I would imagine he'll go the same, but you never know.
So you're still a little bit cautious?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
As to the direction in which Liverpool are going.
Yeah, because Liverpool...
And how fast they're going to it.
Yeah, because Liverpool this season at Anfield, really, even when they've not played that, they've still won games.
Yeah.
Away from Anfield's been the problems.
Yeah.
And that's where you get the real test of players' mentality.
Yeah. Lawrence, big Liverpool fan. Are you as cautious as Danny? I mean, how badly did Slot need these 2 wins, Lawrence?
Not as badly as people think, I believe. I think he's, by his own admission, and I actually wanted to make a point about the debate earlier around whether Slot was complaining or not earlier, but because I think, you know, of all the managers, Slot is a very balanced manager who handles the media excellently, and I have not once heard him complain. And I think by his own admission, he will say that he's been setting the team up wrong, he's been bedding people in, and he's got a few things wrong. He knows that he's got the players and he's got the nous to be able to turn this round. So I think it's just the media calling it a crisis. And you'll see Liverpool come through strongly now.
Yeah, I think even though that's possibly true, the reality was when you're manager of a club the size of Liverpool and you go on that horrendous run, if it carried on longer and they'd had a bad Villa result, Madrid result, all of a sudden, it just gets...
Maybe, Lawrence, it wasn't a crisis, but what was 60 feet and 7 to you?
It was an awakening. It was a realisation that you can't just chuck a load of players into a new team without them learning the system. There's 2 things going on here. It's that because Klopp never used to do that, right? Klopp used to keep them on the bench for a while and bed them in, right? But the other thing that's going on, what I believe happened with Liverpool last season, was he kept some of the Klopp strategy, right, and embedded some of his own structure, and it was a transitional season, and it was almost like a perfect setup that won the league. He's now gone further towards his strategy, and he's realised it's not actually working, and what Klopp had before was really solid. So I think he's going through his own process now of understanding what he needs to do going forward, whether it's completely 100% his strategy or he keeps what was already there.
Well, Danny, after 5 wins from 5 earlier on the season, I think Lawrence would even agree with me, no one was talking about anything being in transition.
No, that's true, but the performances suggested otherwise. The reality is some of this transition was forced upon him, and he wouldn't have wanted that bigger transition. No manager, when you win the league, wants to lose 3 or 4 of your main players and then bring 5 new ones in. You just don't want to do it.
You sure it was forced upon him? Well, he wanted Isak. He wanted Ekitike.
Well,
he wanted Virgil.
What was forced upon him was Trent leaving on a free. He could, that was you have to try and replace him. Jota's passing was forced upon him. Diaz not willing to sign his contract and taking the money from him while they could, that was forced upon him if he didn't want to sign the deal offered to him. So there were 3 mainstays of the team that had to go and had to be replaced. So that's not him making choices. I want them out the door, you know, and I'm going to have to, I want my own players in. And the other thing, just to add, and I don't know this for sure, but although I'm sure he's got to say, as a Liverpool manager, he's just won the league, I don't think he had full say over every signing that comes in. I don't. For example, you've got Richard Hughes there, the ex-Bournemouth guy, bringing in Kirk.
It must have been terrible to have got the players he got.
I'm not saying
foisted upon him.
But have they got better than Diaz? No, look what he's doing at Munich.
But that's a different.
Have they got better than?
I mean, it's interesting. The caller talks about the
have
fact
they got better
that
than Trent?
Slot has been very balanced in the media. Well, he's had no reason not to be. He walked into a side that was ready-made for him. They won the league. This is now when you see Slot under pressure. He's been under no pressure because the team has hit the ground running, won well, and he's been seeded in there with a wonderful opportunity of going to football club with very few problems. Now you see the manager in his natural habitat, which is all of a sudden I'm being asked questions. Then you can start judging how balanced he is in the media. And the tripe with respect that he came out with about the game against Crystal Palace when they got battered. You know, he talked about the fact they were in this game and that ultimately there was almost some sort of travesty of outcome. I mean, they could have been 5-0 down.
Yeah, true.
The two games that concern me for Liverpool structurally were Palace and Brentford.
Yeah. There's Jeff, a big Arsenal fan. Jim, with the best will in the world, shut up and talk about Arsenal. Okay, we will. We're not going to shut up and talk about Arsenal. We can't do that, Jeff. We'll talk about Arsenal. But Arsenal, I mean, what have Arsenal become? Something of a defensive freak. And I mean that in a very good way, because how sustainable is this when you look at it? And we'll talk about this after the break. They beat Slavia Prague last night 3-0. But the nil's the important one, isn't it? Another clean sheet. It's now 8 games, consecutive clean sheets for Arsenal. And what about that? They match a 122-year-old club record, dishing way back to around when Simon landed on the planet, 1903. No goals conceded in 8 consecutive matches. Arsenal, how do you score against them, let alone beat them? We'll look at that next. Wednesday morning, huge week in Europe, and it's not over yet. Big matches last night, of course, involving Liverpool, involving Arsenal, involving Tottenham. This is Wednesday, November the 5th, and it's same again tonight. So much going on. Of course, tomorrow being Thursday, we'll turn our attention to boxing as well. A bit of boxing for you later on in the show. We'll get to that when we get to it. But in the meantime, Arsenal and Arsenal fans, in some way, we kind of get sidetracked by Simon and Danny locking horns early, which is what this show's all about. But we kind of get sidetracked from talking about Arsenal until now. So we're three quarters of an hour into the show, but we have to do it because we must do it because what Arsenal are doing is special, so special. Are they virtually a defensive freak when you look at it? They beat Slavia Prague last night 3-0. The clean sheet run continues. 8 games, consecutive clean sheets for Arsenal. It goes on, and they keep winning. They keep winning as well. So they've matched a 122-year-old record dating way back to 1903 of no goals conceded in 8 consecutive matches. So that record and matching it was put to Arteta, and he was asked, how are you doing it?
Well, that's a long time ago, so it tells you about the difficulty of achieving it. There is a lot of work there, obviously, to achieve that. And the most pleasing thing probably is not the records, is the mindset of the players. They are talking there about how we can still do better. That we still have 1 or 2 situations that we could have resolved better. So if we do that, we can be improving, and that record will have a bigger mean.
Danny, I mean, this is remarkable, isn't it? And there's nothing to suggest it's going to come to the end of the run anytime soon. What they are doing. And across the back, the standouts, Saliba and Gabriel, obviously. But elsewhere, they don't seem to have a weakness.
They are relentless, physically brilliant. But the thing that separates them is their mindset when they defend collectively, when I watch them, which is all down to the manager, really. They don't carry anyone. And they enjoy defending. They enjoy it. But the forward lads do it. The wingers are flying back to help. You got Eza doing his bit, who some people class as a luxury player. Physically, he's doing the work. Gyökeres has made a big difference in terms of the press. He's better at it than Havertz. More tenacious in his press. He's a big lump. He gets after people, harasses people. They are exactly what a team of top players should be when they haven't got the ball. They're humble, and they don't have anyone who I can think of that even remotely comes close to being lazy in that system. And that's because the manager dictates that's what they have to do. Because if they don't do it, or they're not quite at it defensively, they don't play. Now, he's got a luxury now of having 2 players more or less for each position. Now, they can't maintain this level of impregnability, if that's a word. I just don't, because you have bad days and you're coming up, they're going to come up against for example, the next game in the Champions League is Bayern Munich.
Right. Now,
Bayern Munich have won every single game they've played. You know, that's going to be a test.
But they'll be worried about Arsenal.
Yeah, of course, especially as I think it's at Arsenal. But they'll have a little bad spell at some point. They'll concede some goals. But overall, you look when I look at Arsenal now, I look at them and think it doesn't really matter if they don't play that well with the ball.
Right.
They're still going to get results because they're so good without it.
So tell me at the moment, and try and predict this for me, are they going to outdo Chelsea? 04-05, they still hold, from that season, the best defensive Premier League record. They conceded 15. Arsenal have conceded 3.
No.
So we're into November.
No. Can't see that.
Are they going to concede another 12 along the way?
Yeah.
Or more?
I think 15 is nothing short of ridiculous to maintain that level of consistency. What Arsenal have done from now to this what is it, 9 games, 10 games, whatever.
It's similar, Danny. At this point in the season, Chelsea conceded 2.
It is. But
at this point in the season, 2. Well, Arsenal 3.
I'll carry on. They'll have a little bad spell where they concede a couple here and there, and 15 is ridiculous. Honestly, that's absolutely crazy numbers.
Yeah.
I'd be amazed if they equal or beat that. Absolutely amazed.
What do you think, Simon? I mean, as Danny rightly says, Arsenal are second in the Champions League at the moment, 4 wins from 4. No goals conceded. Next up, Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich will be worried about Arsenal, as much as Arsenal will be concerned about facing them.
Yeah.
And so they should be.
So they should be. I mean, Arsenal are a formidable side. They've built a brilliant squad. They've brought some players in that have really enabled other players to really blossom. You know, Zubimendi frees up Declan Rice. When Zubimendi doesn't play, the boy that they brought in from Brentford fills that role. So they've got a very decent squad. They brought Eze in to give them more creativity. They're a very good side, and they should be in a position now to achieve what Arteta's been threatening to achieve in the last 2 or 3 seasons, which is to win the league. I expect them to win the league. I didn't expect them to win the league at the beginning of the season. I expected Liverpool to win it. But new information provides new thinking.
But still to come back, Simon, Martinelli, Gyökeres, Havertz, Odegaard, Madueke, Zubimendi, Gabriel Jesus, still to return.
Absolutely. I mean, they have a great squad. You've got young kids out there like Max Dowman being blooded that are playing in the Champions League themselves. They've got a raft of talent. They've got a youth development system that's bringing young players through that shows itself in all its finest form, which is how football should be, which is young players coming through, top players being bought, a squad being assembled, and a team coming out of it. And Arteta has built an environment at Arsenal that has revived the club in lots of ways, because there was a criticism about the lack of energy around the place. There was a criticism, the only thing they seemed to be happy about was complaining. They hounded out Wenger. Emery wasn't given much of a chance, and Arteta has had some ups and downs, but certainly the energy around Arsenal, when you go and watch them as a team, not just as a team playing, Newcastle got in amongst them, and Newcastle scored a goal against them, and Arsenal had to dig deep and get themselves back into that game, and did it in the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Liverpool beat.
And Liverpool beat them, so they're not beyond beatable, and they're not beyond scoring goals against, but they are a very, very formidable side, and they're in the box seat to do something quite significant this season, and I expect them to win the league now.
The other thing they've got, which is talked about, some people don't think it's as important as others I listen to, but that hunger you have after failure, because they have been called failures, some of those lads who've been there the last couple of seasons, a couple of second places.
Oh yeah, choking and all that. Yeah.
There seems like a will and a determination to prove people wrong in the group.
Yeah.
Maybe that comes from the manager. Maybe
it's fascinating to see how this wonderful Arsenal backline stands up against Haaland right now. I mean, obviously City.
They played him, he scored.
Yeah. Yeah,
they drew, didn't they? They got the late when Eze opened them up late on.
In the longer term down the season.
Yeah. It'll be fascinating to see how they stand up to Kane.
Yeah, well, I don't think Kane in isolation is their problem. It's Munich's flair and power everywhere else.
Dan, just in the passing of clean sheets, do we pay enough attention to clean sheets? We pay a lot of attention to goals scored. Oh, they're banging them in right, left and centre.
No, but
clean sheets, massive part of the game. Is appreciated enough?
The only success I've had in my career was based on foundation for defensively solid. Like our Liverpool Houllier side, for example, was not particularly great to watch. We played a lot of teams better than us and give them respect and played pragmatically. We were really hard nut to crack. And even our success at Fulham was based on exactly the same thing. I think now, because we've got to the point now, haven't we, where teams are doing okay in West Ham's a great example, Moisey. They're finishing in top 8, top 7, getting into Europe, but the football's not good enough.
Yeah.
We've heard it before. How many clubs? I remember my days at Charlton when they were a Premier League side, and I think the year before I got there, they were top 10. We finished about 8th or 9th in my first season, and then the fans, there was discontent that Kerb's style wasn't good enough. I think football's everyone wants good results and good football.
Sure. Danny was on CoCom's duty last night because 10-man Tottenham demolished Copenhagen by 4-0. We'll look at that next. That and a whole bunch of things. We're coming up to 11 o'clock this Wednesday morning. And we're live in talkSPORT with Selco, where the trade goes.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Score a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With the headlines at 1 minute past 11, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. 2 down, 1 to go. If Liverpool win at Man City this weekend, Danny Murphy will say Slot's team has turned a corner. Murphy's told White and Jordan Liverpool looked physically better in the win over Real Madrid, and Slot made a cute change.
Madrid played Valverde right back, super athlete, big, strong. I think that was Alonso thinking Trent might struggle with Gakpo's pace and physicality. He didn't even play Gakpo, played Virtus off the left and let him go wandering, which caused Madrid problems.
Meanwhile, Ricky Lambert says Trent Alexander-Arnold would have been sad to see his connection with Liverpool fans is no more.
I wouldn't have booed, but what I could see yesterday, and it wasn't nice to see, I could see the Scouse lad inside break. That would have really hurt him last night.
Arne Slot gave Trent a hug after the final whistle. Crystal Palace have been charged with misconduct for their tifo during August's game with Nottingham Forest. It shows Evangelos Marinakis holding a gun to Morgan Gibbs-White's head, a comment on his failed move to Spurs. We're hearing Wolves are willing to face Chelsea with a caretaker in charge. The game is live on talkSPORT this weekend. Aaron Ramsey's been left out of the upcoming Wales squad. That's to face Liechtenstein and North Macedonia. Captain Ben Davies is back, though. And despite being very confident, Nick Kyrgios has told us he's not taking his upcoming battle of the sexes lightly.
Aryna Sabalenka is a dangerous tennis player. She's extremely confident. It's impossible to achieve what she's achieved without having confidence against whoever she plays. I know for a fact that she doesn't care who's down the other end, that she believes she can win any match she plays.
Kyrgios, now 652nd in the world, will face the women's world number 1 next month in Dubai.
talkSPORT News.
Primary school kids are set to be taught spotting fake news and managing money in a curriculum shake-up, and that Marks & Spencer cyber attack has cost them around £136 million. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With a huge range of premium brands available, we've got what you need to drive away happy every time. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Plenty of rain about, especially in the north and west. Brighter spells elsewhere. Very mild and quite breezy today.
Good morning, everybody. 4 minutes past 11 o'clock this Wednesday morning, Wednesday, November the 5th. Stand well back when you light your fireworks tonight. It's Jim White, Simon Jordan and Danny Murphy, and we are live in talkSPORT, coming to you live from the studio on the 17th floor of this wonderful news building that we work from, right beside the Shard here at London Bridge. As well as listening to the show, you can watch the show as well, pretty much everywhere. Chromecast, Android, Google TV, even Prime Video. Wherever you want to watch us, you can see us as well as listen to us. Later on in the show, we're going to talk about this fella, Destiny Udogie, the Tottenham player. Now we know that it is Udogie who's been identified as a Premier League footballer who was allegedly threatened with a gun during a row with a football agent. What on earth was going on there? Simon and I touched on that yesterday. We'll get to that further down the line. In fact, let's stay with Tottenham right now, because Tottenham were in Champions League action last night. In the Champions League, of course, because they won the Europa League last season. And they did all right, more than all right. They thrashed Copenhagen by 4-0. And there was a goal in there from Mickey van de Ven. And if I'm not mistaken, there is a tremendous message that I've just spotted, which mentions Mickey van de Ven in the same breath as Maradona. Darren, guys, good morning. What Mickey van de Ven did last night was like watching Maradona cut through England, as he did in the Azteca Stadium. We were all in awe of what he did last night. He should get a long contract now. He deserves it. Well, certainly van de Ven excelled, and we'll get more from Danny on that in a second. But Thomas Frank was thrilled.
I think it was a step forward. I like what I saw from Brennan, is classic Brennan, running in behind, and I really liked the assist from Xavi, very good assist from Xavi, so happy that it was a goal from Brennan, assist from Xavi. I like bits from Wilson, and also, of course, he scored. I think Kolo looked like a handful in many situations. He could easily have scored 1 or 2 goals, maybe, in the end. But I think all of them have much more to come, but it was definitely a step forward.
A certain Danny Murphy was in co-comments duty last night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You ever played with a centre-half, Danny, capable of scoring a goal like Van de Ven did last night?
Hell no. No. Physically, this guy's exceptional, quite unique. He's like a sprinter. He's a decent footballer. The irony is the little bit of skill and pace he showed initially to get from his out of his own box to go on the run was what he tried to do against Chelsea and got caught for the winner. So it's,
yeah,
the way he plays sometimes is brave or silly, whichever way you look at it, but he's got so much ability. The goal kind of encapsulated everything good on the night, really. There was a feel-good factor there. They were playing a poor side, of course, but they did a lot of things well, and they played with a bit more freedom. And the players after the first goal, like Simons, like Mawani, started growing in confidence. There was some flicks and tricks and round the corners and linking up with each other. Odegaard probably had his best game this season. But the goal was phenomenal show of physical prowess. Good footwork as well, and a great finish, especially after that long run, because a lot of times you go on a long run, your legs go, and you mess the finish up. And the first thing I thought when I saw it was, actually, could you get more out of him going forward than they currently do? And the only way to do that would be to change and play a 3. So if he was playing left of a 3 and he could have license to go and the 2 cover him, because Thomas Frank played that system a lot at Brentford.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's thought about it. Because when you got that attribute in your game, to be restricted, I mean, the Dutch team have played him left-back quite a few times because of it, I think. Because they think, go on, as a full-back, you can go. So we might see that evolve at Tottenham as the season goes on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Them try and play a 3.
Because we were boozing Saturday night after the game against Chelsea.
Rightly so. They were absolutely...
Rightly so. So was this more handbrake off, wasn't it?
Well, they were allowed... I mean, they were playing a much lesser team, so they were physically better, technically better. And of course, when you realise that after 10, 15 minutes as a player, you grow. Everyone wants the ball then. There's more space. You're not getting as closed down as quickly. You haven't got Caicedo coming into the back here and getting the ball off you, or Reece James. You've got these players who are struggling, trying to cope with you. So they did what all they could do. I suppose the biggest plus for Tottenham on the night was at 2-0, when they got the sending off, half an hour to go. There was kind of like is this going to be backs to the wall? But they actually flipped it. They went and killed it off.
Yeah.
So we'd be really pleased with that. I think they've got a fair way to go, because at home they've been poor because of their lack of creativity, missing Kulusevski, missing Solanke, missing Maddison. There are reasons for it, but...
Sure, big players for them.
All he could do was react to that performance against Chelsea, and then they've done it, and they've got to follow it up now at the weekend.
Again, I mean, we spoke about Slot at the top of the show, Simon, but Thomas Frank needed this result last night.
Well, yeah, in the immediate term, because people were very critical of his performance on the weekend. I mean, I think he's doing okay.
He is.
I mean, I think they've had some games where they've come back and got results. I think against Sunderland at home, when they would look like a game was going to be lost, they get a goal in the last 5 minutes.
Wolves.
Spurs, was it Wolves? Sorry, yeah, Wolves. You're right. Yeah. I mean, I look at Spurs and I was confounded by their performance on the weekend because it was dreadful. It was poor. It was poor in every respect. I mean, Van de Ven has done. I mean, I remember going to watch Spurs a year, 18 months ago, where Van de Ven did something similar, which was burst through against Everton and left everybody in his wake.
He set someone up.
And everyone was like, "Look at that!"
Yeah.
So he's got it in his locker, and he's a very talented footballer. But I think Thomas Frank is not going to turn Tottenham Hotspur into what Thomas Frank wants it to be in 10 games.
No, they finished 17th, I think.
Yeah. Year. So I mean, the fact that people are having a go at them when they were having a go at them on a weekend and they were third at the time, to me, is a bit silly.
Yeah, but you one thing in football is I've seen this so many times. If they'd won all the games they've won away at home in front of the majority of the fans.
The narrative would be different.
60,000 all seeing these good performances. Then you get the hardcore 3,000 going away from home where they've won at City and they've won at Everton, and the losing on the road thing is a bit more forgivable because the fans all turn up at home and they want to see their team. The fact it's gone the other way for them has turned the narrative a bit more negative than it would have done if it was the other way round.
Yeah.
But there is definite room for improvement. They are quite stiff in their build-up and the way they play. And some of their forward players have struggled.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, is there a clear identity yet under Thomas Frank?
Well, yes, pretty much. I've seen what he's done first and foremost, for sure, is made them harder to beat. Their shape's much better. The midfield don't go leaving big, massive spaces. The fullbacks generally play fullback. Under Ange, the fullbacks were more like inside forwards.
Yeah.
The midfielders were breaking the neck to get past forwards and press everywhere. There's a much better defensive structure, so they're harder to beat. The problem is with that, of course, you're not as creative and fluid and forward thinking.
Sure.
You've got to walk before you can run.
We'll find out a lot more if they can find a way of beating Man United at the weekend.
Big game.
Yeah.
Big game, that one.
Yeah, yeah. In the meantime, north of the border, of course, life goes on for Martin O'Neill in interim charge at Celtic at the moment, following the resignation of Brendan Rodgers last week. And last week we were all over it on this particular show. So now it's down to who will take over on a permanent basis after Martin O'Neill says thanks and then returns here, no doubt, to the very chair that Danny's sitting in this morning. Craig Bellamy, moments ago, has dismissed any chance that he'll join the race to become the next Celtic manager. He says, I can understand the links. Yeah, I played there. But to me, I love what I'm doing at the present time. And of course, he's in charge of Wales just now. I'm completely focused on what's to come. That's all I'm focused on. It's cliched, but I couldn't want anything else. It isn't on my radar, and it won't be on my radar. So Craig Bellamy saying, absolutely, count me out of Celtic.
I would be surprised if he said anything different. I mean, he's gone into the Welsh job. I think he's done it very well. I mean, obviously they were poor against England, but notwithstanding that, on the bulk of the games that they've been played in, they've been highly competitive. He's adopted a completely different philosophy towards Wales being underdogs in games and the mentality of pushing them forward and being chest out. So I'm not surprised, and it's nice to hear someone leave it with no doubt in people's minds. So there's no margin. There's no, I'm the Wales manager until someone tells me something different. None of that.
Exactly.
So refreshing.
Yeah. You never know in football.
But we've moaned about that a lot with people leaving it.
Yeah.
It's open-ended.
Yeah. Well, I can't stand quotes from managers or players that finish with, but let's see what happens. No, let's not. Let's hear what you think.
The one that gets me is, well, I'm focused on the job I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, of course you are, 'cause you're getting paid to be.
But he pretty much is saying that. I am
no,
focused.
But he's also categorically said,
it's not for me.
Yeah. So that's what Bellamy is saying this morning. Count me out. It's Celtic. It's not on my radar, and it won't be on my radar. I wonder what Dermot Desmond is thinking at this particular point in time as Celtic have a European tie against Midtjylland to look forward to under Martin O'Neill, and then the small matter of Kilmarnock at the weekend. Busy period of time for our old chum Martin, age 73, who's enjoying it every stretch of the way. It's 11:15 this Wednesday morning. It's Jim White, Simon Jordan, Danny Murphy. We are live on talkSPORT. So many stories of so many different natures at the moment, emanating from the world of football. And this is a perfect example of another, in fact, two I want to bring you this morning. Yesterday, we spoke about this alleged incident involving an agent, a 31-year-old agent, who reportedly was arrested after reports of a late-night confrontation with a Premier League player and a family member on a busy street in North London, in amongst some pretty affluent restaurants. Telegraph Sport understands the row escalated after the player chose not to use the agent's services. Well, it's now emerged that the player involved is the Tottenham defender Destiny Udogie, who's been identified as a Premier League footballer who was allegedly threatened with a gun during this row with a football agent. And a Tottenham spokesperson has said, "We have been providing support for Destiny and his family since the incident, and we will continue to do so. Given this is a legal matter, we cannot comment any further." The suspect previously worked with players at international level. He's been questioned over allegations of blackmail and driving without a licence, in addition to a firearms offence. I mean, Simon, it beggars belief that anything like this can happen. And Danny, this is one for you as well, of course. Are young players today in football at a bigger threat from hangers-on, if you like, than ever before?
I don't know whether than ever before, but maybe, because the rewards are so great.
Does this shock you?
No, not really.
Why?
Well, I know of...
Allegedly threatened with a gun.
Maybe from an agent, yeah. I mean, when I first signed for Liverpool, I had a couple of things go on where people tried to push their luck and put you in a corner, yeah, for sure.
What do you mean, push their luck?
Well, try and influence you, to do things with them, or to basically come after your money.
And to what extent try and influence?
Well, I'm long story for another day, but they just know that you're in a vulnerable position, whether it's, if you're using someone for security or to keep you safe, and then that turns into bigger and worse things. But for an agent to do it, generally agents looking after Premier League players, especially on our own shores, are pretty well known and word of mouth, and build up a reputation over a period of years where you wouldn't be expecting them to be doing that type of thing. But you also get the more young agents who try and infiltrate footballers to get a payday and do it by any means necessary because the rewards are so great.
Yeah.
There's been stories in the past. I think Rooney had some issues when he first went with Stretford, didn't he?
Well, I think Stretford had issues, didn't he?
Well, sorry, Stretford had the issues, yeah.
Because Wayne was with somebody else at the time, representing him.
Yeah, so I think you're always going to get bad eggs.
When it gets to this...
It's heavy stuff, that.
It's heavy stuff, Simon.
Sure.
I mean, the Telegraph understands the row escalated after the player chose not to use the agent's services.
Yeah.
And then, allegedly, the same player is threatened with a gun during this row.
Yeah, I mean, there's no... I mean, it'd be fascinating to know which agency this agent worked for, and if it's a reputable and sizable agency, I wonder if that will come out in the ether, because the agency itself will have some ramifications for the reputational damage that might come as a result of the behaviour of an individual agent within the confines of their organisation. You cannot find, young players. It's been a problem for a very long time that young players are being taken into the world of agency. It's a balance between players being represented and players being badly advised. I've seen all kinds of agents, good and bad. I've seen agents sit in my room telling me how much they will be paid by me to misrepresent their players. I've seen agents bully players. I've seen situations like the Stretford situation. We've talked about other agents that have bullied other agents, that have gone into restaurants and waved apparently weapons at well-known agents because agents are compromising one another. It's a murky little pool. And unfortunately, when there's so much money around, then people need to be better governed and there needs to be better transparency. And I make the point, and I don't make any apology for repeating it. If you look at most of the corruption in the game, you won't go too far away from looking at the agency world of being the genesis of most of it.
Yeah.
And if you want to find a way to get rid of these bad practices, how about introducing some proper governance and stop the notion that ultimately FIFA, that were trying to regulate these agents better, were trying to govern how much money they got, is some force for bad. Because this agency world, I've never been against third-party ownership, by the way. I've always been against transparency and lack of awareness of how it actually works. We've seen so many times third-party ownership being something that people are confused by. But in this instance, where you've got a younger player, first of all, why is he with this agent? I would guarantee you it's because of the peer group pressure inside his own dressing room. I've suggested to him, that's the agent that we're with, so why don't you go with him? Why is this agent behaving in this way? I suspect that probably other agencies are attacking a group of players inside their framework that they want to try and protect. But to go to this level of behaviour, well, okay.
Yeah,
there's no explanation for it.
Whoever's got to that. I mean, he's obviously an uneducated lad who thinks he's gangster.
Yeah.
And he's probably never going to work in... Well, he won't work in the industry again, will he? He's done.
Well, we'll see how it develops. Elsewhere, our old friend James McClean, who's been on this show on a number of occasions. Nowadays, James, Republic of Ireland winger, now with Wrexham. He's been accused of punching a Cardiff City supporter in a car park. It was a confrontation that wasn't reported to the police. It's said to have taken place prior to kick-off in last week's Carabao Cup fixture. It was at the racecourse ground. Away supporters exchanged insults with James McClean after he parked his car. And a Wrexham source said that McClean acted in self-defence after coming under attack. Investigations are still taking place to establish how Cardiff fans got into the parking area used by the Wrexham players, which is normally patrolled by stewards. But this situation seems to go on and on. It never really seems... Controversy of this nature never really seems to leave James for any amount of time. Now, James has been in touch with me this morning because I must admit he's a fella I speak to on a semi-regular basis, and he's always extremely cooperative when there's a controversy surrounding him, and he'll speak about it. Can't join us this morning, but has spoken to me in text form. He says, I'm currently in London, I'm doing something else, but I can give you a quick summary. What happened was I got out of my car in the players' car park. Somehow there were 4 male Cardiff fans, also late 20s, early 30s. They recognised me, immediately started running their mouths off at me. I ignored the first jibe. The second I responded to, and I confronted them about it. Words were said. One of them, a tall chap with glasses, made a hostile move towards me. Like I've told you in previous interviews, Jim, I'm in my workplace, and I feel I should never feel threatened in that workplace. So instead, I wasn't waiting for him to make the first swing, so I did. 4 men, one of me. People need to understand just because we play football doesn't mean people can try and take liberties without their actions having consequences. That was it. Nothing further happened, and the situation was dealt with. I hope that helps, mate, says James to me. So, I mean, it gives us a bit more clarity. One thing about James is he's not backward and coming forward. This is what happened, and it happens to him from time to time.
But James runs towards the fire, doesn't he?
Sometimes, on occasions, not on this occasion.
I mean, look, the idea, we've rehearsed this speech on many occasions about the probably misguided approach that he took when he decided to put a social media position of himself with a balaclava and a Kalashnikov. We've all discussed that, and it's used as a weaponised conversation to detract from his overriding message. James doesn't have to wear Poppy on the field if he doesn't want to. In fact, there's a part of me that thinks, why does football have to get involved with putting Poppy on a shirt in the first place, right? Even though it's a different cause and from other ideologies that I disagree with.
Yeah.
But then James does that, and then he goes on a football field and says, I don't want to wear Poppy, and everyone goes, oh, well, we're not quite happy with that. And rather than just go, okay, I'm not going to wear Poppy, he then stands away from people, so it makes a bigger production of it and draws more attention to himself. Now, in this instance, I would imagine there is always a way to get yourself out of a situation. You know, to get yourself away from a situation. I understand his point of view, which is not going to be bullied, he's not going to be intimidated, he's not going to be threatened, and he's not going to allow someone to have a shot at him, he's going to take it first.
Yeah.
But there's also a school of thought, which is a different mentality, which suggests is the best course of action is to get yourself away from it. You're a footballer, you're in a privileged, rarefied world where the financial returns that you get from the game does not mean you're subjected to abuse, but if you don't want to be part of the abuse culture, get yourself away from it. You know, to get involved with somebody insulting you, it's not great. No, I've had it done to me. Sure. You don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
But James probably wants to think about whether he needs to be in the proximity that he has to throw a punch.
Well, all I'd say on that one is, and we don't know, so we're surmising, but sometimes in a environment, you feel like your instinct tells you someone's going to have a go and something's going to come for you. And if there's 4 of them, and he did feel like it was coming and it was inevitable, so he just nipped it in the bud. I've been in that position. I've done the same.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to make a judgment call. I take your greater point, your bigger point, Simon, and if you consistently put yourself in the public eye for things that are contentious.
I think what's important here is what were Cardiff fans doing in the parking area used by Wrexham players.
Exactly, that's another question. We don't know, do we? We don't know.
Yeah.
Element of security. And James has given. It's very important, and it's great that there's 2 sides to a conversation. And in this conversation, the accusations made about James, he's defended him. So I just want to go back to this agency thing about Destiny Udogie. I want to know which agency this player represents. This agent's part of. Because if it's a big agency, I want to hear what they have to say about the conduct of their agents.
Well, they've only got one way to go, haven't they? Surely, this is ridiculous.
Well, this is a fascinating thing.
Well, this is Udogie who was identified as a Premier League player who's allegedly threatened with a gun during a row with a football agent.
If it's a big agency, it's not my hobby horse to just have a go at agents. But the fact of the matter is, if you're working within the confines of a business and you operate in this way, then the business has to be accountable. In the same way that if we do something on this show, I said something terrible, we'd be accountable for it. If you're and so would the people that we work for.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be representative of me if you said something ridiculous and then you got sacked. That doesn't mean I'm on yours. I agree with what you've said.
Doesn't matter.
What you're saying, you want to know the name of the agency more than you want to know the name of the agent.
Well, I want to know both. I mean,
but that will come out.
Assume that I might, but I want to see who the agency are, and I want to see what their response to it is, because I want football agents accountable, and I want big football agencies accountable for people that work within it, because this is serious stuff.
What was the worst thing that ever happened to you? No agent ever actually physically threatened you, did they?
No. But I watched agents operate. I watched them operate. I watched players being coerced into situations. I watched players being influenced by. And so I watched people like Stretford weaseling their way into England football camps via people that worked for England in terms of, or more to the point, parents of other kids. I saw Wayne Routledge. I saw it happen to Wayne Routledge come back from an England camp with Stretford as his bleeding agent. What's going on? And I saw things going on training grounds. I saw agents tapping players up. I saw agents influencing players' thinking. I saw agents sit in front of my office telling me that their player could be gotten for £10,000 a week rather than £15,000 a week if I bung them 50 grand.
Yeah, but
and they're representing the players. This is the moral compass of this industry.
The other thing, Simon, as well, is that I know from
know that's right.
Yeah, and I also know for a fact that I've been at clubs where the manager has more or less insisted that certain players go with a certain agent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of certain managers, big managers, that have taken payments from agents.
Well, I don't know about payments, but I can tell you...
Signing players.
I can tell you that certain players I've been around felt the only option was to go with the agent the manager was recommending.
Well, certainly regarding this incident with the doggy and the agent, the Metropolitan Police tell us that the individual has been bailed while inquiries continue. We'll keep across it. It's 11:30.
Trent Alexander-Arnold? Who needs him with Liverpool playing like that? Arne Slot is sounding much more positive after that win over Real Madrid. He was impressed with how his side shut out the incredible Mbappe and Vinicius.
Their deep runs, timing of deep runs, their pace is next level. So don't give away any space in behind, and that's what our last line did very well.
Slot also called Conor Bradley's 90 minutes outstanding, while the Daily Mail's Dom King told us last night was one in the eye for anyone doubting Andy Robertson.
He was never finished. Never in a million years was he finished. And every time Andy Robertson has been in the team this year, or whenever, Liverpool are an infinitely better side.
A great night for Spurs as well, and Thomas Frank says Mickey van der Ven can blank him all season if he keeps doing that.
But it seems like we had Lionel Messi turned into Mickey van der Ven. I think he's our top scorer in all competitions, so he can keep going. He can keep, by the way, walking past me if he's angry after a game, if you deliver like this.
Spurs smashed Copenhagen 4-0. Meanwhile, Destiny Udogie is receiving support from Tottenham after he was named as the footballer allegedly threatened by an agent with a gun. And in the Championship, Leicester fans booed their team off again after conceding late in a 1-1 draw with Middlesbrough. There's more at talkSPORT.com.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Get ready for the golden era of sports betting. Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
So it's that time. We're joined by Lord Charlie Robertson from BetMGM. We'll look at some of the top sporting events, top games, discuss the odds round and about them. Charlie, good morning to you. Danny and Simon both with me. Let's look back at last night's Champions League action. What are you thinking?
Morning, Jim. Morning, guys. Yeah, really good night for the English sides, wasn't it, Jim? With Arsenal, Spurs and Liverpool all getting the job done in pretty impressive fashion. In terms of how it sort of affects the outright betting, Jim, Arsenal, as you guys have mentioned, won their last 8 without conceding, which is incredibly impressive, isn't it? They're the 9-2 favourites. Bayern 5-1 and PSG 6-1. Barcelona and Liverpool 7-1, and then come City and Madrid at 10s. Danny, Simon, I wanted to come to you on Arsenal. I know, as I mentioned, they're the 9-2 favourites. I think that price is probably reflective of how the form they're in now. But would you guys worry about their sort of lack of European pedigree in this competition further down the line, or do you think that doesn't make too much difference given how well they're playing at the moment?
Well, I think it always gives you a little advantage if you've been there and done it before, for sure. The thing in the Champions League is trying to make predictions now when we're looking at the crunch games coming 4 months away, 3-4 months away. It's nigh on impossible, but I still think Arsenal, Bayern, PSG, Barca, they'll all be there. And then in a two-legged game, anything can happen. But Arsenal got a good chance. They've got, because of the strength in depth. You know, they should still have a chance, even if they get a few injuries. But yeah, the in answer to the question, the fact they haven't got over the line in that tournament before could be a factor. Yeah.
I mean, last season's a case in point, though, Danny. PSG were fairly indifferent to start with, then came right through the pack. We know what they did.
Exactly. So the form now really.
Yeah, they were 15th.
Doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah.
Well, PSG lost last night, didn't they?
That's true. Yeah, that is true. That answers your question, I think, Charlie. We want to, let's fast forward to tonight, because some interesting ones tonight. Karabag Chelsea, live in talkSPORT 2. Manchester City against Dortmund. Erling Haaland against his old club, live in talkSPORT. Newcastle against Athletic Bilbao, live in talkSPORT 2. So there's a story in there, Charlie, regards each and every one of these fixtures.
Yeah, exactly, Jim. 9 more games tonight. All 3 of those sides you mentioned, Chelsea, City and Newcastle, they're all pretty strongly fancied, all odds on to beat Qarabag, Dortmund and Athletic Bilbao. We should obviously make it a clean sweep for English sides this week, and it's about 6-4 the treble, so not a massive price. If you are looking for a bit bigger, or punter looking for a bit bigger, Jim, then it's 17-2 for all 3 to win to nil, which obviously happened last night. I was trying to find when the last time that happened in Europe. I couldn't dig it out, but I'd imagine hasn't happened for a long time. So yeah, 17-2 if you think we'll win to nil, which could be a nice bet.
What do you think? I mean, I look at Chelsea will take care of Qarabag.
You'd think.
Where did Qarabag come from? There's one for you. Your starter for 10, Danny Murphy on the buzzer. Simon Jordan, this is open to you as well.
Do you know?
Azerbaijan.
I knew it was a long flight. They've actually done well. They've won 2 out of the first 3 games. But yeah, 9 out of 10, Chelsea should beat them.
Yeah. Manchester City, Dortmund.
Dortmund are doing all right. They, got some good players, but Man City at home, you fancied them yet? What was the third part of the...
Newcastle, Athletic Bilbao. Yeah. I slightly would be concerned about Newcastle, not normally, but Athletic Bilbao, I think, will defend and defend well. We'll see, Charlie, won't we? Golf, and as Danny is here, couldn't be better for Danny to talk about the Abu Dhabi Championship. And you, Charlie. So tee off in it.
Yeah, really, really great event, Jim. Second last event of the DP World Tour season. I was looking through the odds and I thought Rory McIlroy, given he's always favourite, would be favourite, but actually Tommy Fleetwood's the favourite, 11-2. Rory's 6-1 and Tyrrell Hatton's 8-1. Danny, I quite like the look of Ludwig Oberg at 12-1, but I want to give a big mention to Marco Penge, who I think is the only one who can sort of hunt down Rory in the race to Dubai. I think he's won 3 times this season, been really impressive. I know the guys in our office really like the look of him this week. Would he be on your sort of radar this week, or who would you be looking at?
Well, Marco Penge is an incredible guy. The story is amazing, isn't it? Because it wasn't so long ago he nearly lost his card and then also got banned for betting. And there was a lot of talk about him being written off, and he's probably done. And now he's making his ways in the top 50, I think top 40 even. 3 wins, and he hits the ball. He's the only guy who can stand on the tee with Rory and knock it with him or past him.
Wow.
But I can't, although he's a super talent and he is pushing Rory, the way Tommy Fleetwood's playing, you just can't back anyone else. He's playing like God. He doesn't make mistakes and his putting's changed. Yeah, I'd go safe and go Tommy. But what price is Marco Penge?
He's 25-1,
yeah,
Danny.
That's a good bet.
Yeah.
That's a good bet.
Did you see Fleetwood next season, Danny, winning a major?
Well, no reason why not. He's broken the duck now on the PGA Tour. He's just playing with a confidence, and he's just an unbelievable golfer.
Yeah.
Problem is, you've got Scheffler and McIlroy to deal with and so many others, so you never know on the day. But he's as consistent as anyone in the world now, Fleetwood, and has been for the last 4 or 5 months.
Simon, does this station know how blessed it is having Danny talking golf?
It's wonderful. I mean, I'd rather shut my genitals in a car door than spend any more time talking about golf than I have to.
Still got to.
And we'd like you to do that. We'd watch you do that and applaud it.
Charlie would get a big audience.
Charlie, thank you very much indeed. That was a look at the latest odds thanks to BetMGM. We didn't expect Simon's genitals to get mentioned, but they did. Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Keep things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
What about this then? Tomorrow, the talkSPORT Daily Podcast is dropping a cannot-miss interview with the current manager of the USA, Mauricio Pochettino. Mauricio sat down with talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs, and he spoke honestly about Daniel Levy departing from Tottenham Hotspur, his own ambitions of returning to the Premier League, all things Donald Trump, as well as how he felt about his short stint at Chelsea.
My first season was about to stop a little bit the way that Chelsea was going down, and was difficult to stop this negative dynamic that, if you remember, I don't know, it was 6 months, 8 months that not to one win in Stamford Bridge. That was very. They were before us 12 in the Premier League. I think was to stop and to create with new players, with players that with no experience in Premier League, and then when players that need to adapt, like Caicedo or Enzo, that were very young and too much responsibility from the first season. I think after with experience they start to show their quality, and with the relax and calm, and now they are performing very well, and they performed last season very, very well. I think it's a project that is going to be successful for sure.
Danny, do you think we'll see Pochettino back in the Premier League?
Probably. Very likeable guy, very good coach. Actually did the second half of his tenure at Chelsea was really good. They went on an upward curve and started looking more like a side that could be competitive. It's hard not to like him. I've spent a bit of time in his company.
Oh, he's a good guy.
And you can tell he absolutely loves what he does.
Yeah.
You know, he could talk to you about any player, any league. He's just obsessed by it. I'm surprised he took that job, to be honest. I know there's a financial reward and a World Cup coming up, but if he'd have stayed out of work a little bit longer, a bigger job would have come up.
I remember meeting him in Barcelona when he took over at Southampton. They were out there on a camp, introduced by the departing Nicola Cortese, not departing at that stage.
Yeah.
But remember Cortese at Southampton. Anyway, I digress. So, Pochettino in conversation with Ben Jacobs. Make sure you tune into the talkSPORT Daily Podcast tomorrow for that. Danny excels when we talk golf, because, to be fair to him, he knows a lot more than the likes of myself and Simon, it's fair to say. Is that fair to say?
More than fair to say.
More than fair to say, Simon. So now... we're going to talk golf, more specifically LIV Golf in a moment, but for the moment the Ryder Cup, and who may or may not captain Team Europe in the next Ryder Cup, that being 2027. talkSPORT's golf correspondent Rupert Bell joins us live. Rupert, good morning to you. What's left of it? Justin Rose reportedly set to announce that he'll officially withdraw his name as a candidate to be the next European Ryder Cup captain. Have you heard similar? And if so, who else is in there?
Well, the cupboard's a bit bare. Justin Rose, when I spoke to him just after the victory in the Ryder Cup, he still sees himself as a very competitive player. And I think he still sees that even when he's said the next Ryder Cup, I think he's 45 now, he'll be 46, 47 come the next Ryder Cup. But the fact is he's had a stellar year. And I think if he committed to becoming captain, which he, on the face of it, would be an obvious choice, you might suddenly end up in a Keegan Bradley scenario, because he actually still might be playing the kind of golf that would see him automatically get into the team. And I think he still feels, given his results this year and the way he played in the Ryder Cup, that 2 years down the line, he still will be an integral playing member. But Luke Donald's the problem. What does he do? Does he want to go for a third? He's achieved probably as more than he would have expected. Remember, he was a last-minute call-up for Italy. He stayed on for America and got the team over the line as captain. Does he want to go again for another 2 years for Ireland? Where do we go after that? Francesco Molinari might be the obvious choice. But, of course, all the ones that you would expect, Sergio Garcia, you would expect maybe, Graham McDowell's putting his name in the hat, Ian Poulter, Lee Westwood, they, of course, are now on the LIV bandwagon, and so, therefore, have been ruled out as possible captains.
Where do you think it's going, Danny?
Well, I think he probably looks like Luke Donald will do it again. It's hard for any person who has that much success not to want to go with the momentum and stick with it. Is it possible, Rupert, that some of those guys you mentioned on LIV could leave LIV and then be available?
Well, Look, there's some changes going on with LIV now in terms of their suddenly now a 72-hole tournament and various changes. At the moment, the Europe DP World Tour have made it pretty clear that now they've gone there, they will no longer be considered for Ryder Cup captaincy. Obviously, we've had John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton playing in it, and remember, the rules are a bit wishy-washy in terms of how they allowed it, and so there are still legal things going on. But the DP World Tour, you get the impression, are almost trying to sort of brush it under the carpet, and don't rule it out, I suppose you might say, but I don't necessarily think for Ireland it might be further down the line, because someone like Sergio Garcia has got the Ryder Cup running through his veins and was a brilliant player. And you thought, well, would he step up and be a good captain? But Francesco Molinari has been his Luke Donald's sidekick, and Eduardo Molinari is the stats guru. Maybe you see a sort of combo of the two. It's a bit of a mess for the DP World Tour, because there aren't obvious candidates outside Justin Rose, who's now said no, and Luke Donald doing it for a third time. But does he want to do it for a third time? Because it's been all-consuming for him.
Yeah, Rupert, before you leave us, I mean, it came with a whole lot of noise, money, and maybe not a lot else. And I'm talking about LIV Golf. 3 years on, LIV Golf, we know, is changing its 54-hole format next season to move to a regular 72-hole tournament. It's just finished its fourth season. The players love it. The estimated outlay by the Saudi Public Investment Fund on the LIV project is now close to $5 billion US. What is LIV Golf right now?
Well, now it's going to be a conventional 72-hole stroke play event with a team element. And they can't call it LIV anymore, because that's Roman for 54. They're going to have to call it LXX11 from now on to give it the proper Roman numerals. But the fact of the matter is, I think they're desperate for world ranking points. Went to give the LIV Golf credibility. And because at the moment, they aren't able to earn any world ranking points. So they're all plummeting down the rankings. Okay, Tom McKibben, who's LIV, but he won in Hong Kong to qualify for the Open and the Masters. So I think they see this as a way to persuade the World Golf Ranking Organization that we are now conforming to every other tournaments around the world. And that is what they want. And I think the new chief executive, Scott O'Neill, realizes this and is trying to bring in. But it leaves the DP World Tour still in limbo, and they're working with the PGA Tour. The DP World Tour is the problem at the moment. It's in hot to the PGA Tour, but ultimately they should probably have done a deal with LIV back in the day, because that would have probably made more sense for them, because they would have had so much of this Saudi money coming into the DP World Tour. But it's a big change, and maybe we'll see players getting golf rankings from playing in the tournaments next year.
Rupert, thanks very much indeed. I remember when it came on the scene, Simon, and it came on, as I said, with a lot of noise.
Yeah,
promising a lot of money, which it did, but not a lot else.
But it's interesting. We talk about how we should always eat what's on our plate and not worry about the future so much. But when we're looking about future captains of the Ryder Cup team, it's interesting when you talk about how things can change. Graham Gooch went on a rebel tour to South Africa and came back 3 years later after being banned and captain England. So if there's a desire to find a solution about how you play people or get people into positions of authority and influence, you'll find a solution. Yeah. I would imagine that the next set of Ryder captains will come out of players that have played on the LIV Tour.
Yeah, it's looking that way. LIV Golf, all of a sudden, not hitting the headlines as it did when it first was launched in the scene, Danny.
Broadcaster.
Well, I suppose the majority of players don't really care, because they've already had the financial benefit, and that's why they went.
Yeah.
So depending on the contract lengths, if it picks up, great. If it deteriorates, they can jump back.
I think, if I remember rightly, the first LIV Golf tournament was won by Charles Schwartzel, the South African, and he was super pleased to hear that the winning check was $4 million. Thereafter, everybody wanted to play, but maybe not so much now. It's Jim White, Simon Jordan, and Danny Murphy live in talkSPORT with Selco, where the trade goes. We're coming up to 12 noon.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With your headlines at 1 minute past 12, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good afternoon. Liverpool are on the verge of turning a corner, according to former midfielder Danny Murphy.
If they go to Man City and avoid defeat, then yeah, you can say it's been a turning point for them. They looked physically better from what I saw.
Liverpool restricted Real Madrid to just 2 shots on target in their 1-0 Champions League win. Fullbacks Conor Bradley and Andy Robertson were particularly impressive. Danny says the bigger picture for Slot at Liverpool is those new signings.
How they get back in, who do they come in for, all those things. But that's not something that should be overly thought about right now, because they were in such a bad run of form. All he had to do, his main job was to get them back on track and back in contention.
Liverpool go to Man City on Sunday. Now, Craig Bellamy's dismissed any chance of him taking over at Celtic. He's focused on getting Wales to a World Cup. On that, Aaron Ramsey's footballing future's in doubt after he was left out of Bellamy's latest squad. That's amid reports Ramsey's quit Pumas in Mexico. Wales captain Ben Davies is fit again, so is Dan James. They rejoin the squad to face Liechtenstein and North Macedonia. Crystal Palace have been charged with misconduct for that tifo during the Forest game. It showed Evangelos Marinakis holding a gun to Morgan Gibbs-White's head. That was a comment on his failed move to Spurs. And Nick Kyrgios is treating his upcoming Battle of the Sexes as just another tennis match. At the end of December, the former Wimbledon finalist takes on Aryna Sabalenka.
She's the number 1 player in the world. Like, she's very capable. You know what I mean? And so, at the same time, it's not easy. Like, there's going to be millions of people watching this. You know, if I don't get a good start or if she breaks my serve early, like, it's going to feel like the world's on my shoulders.
Sabalenka has promised to kick Kyrgios's butt in the showcase in Dubai.
talkSPORT News.
The Southport attacker's brother says he was warned to be careful around Axel Rudikabana by their dad, and spotting fake news is set to be taught in primary schools. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, your go-to destination for quality tyres from great brands like Continental. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Plenty of rain, especially in the north and west. Brighter spells elsewhere, very mild and quite breezy.
Good afternoon, everybody. 3 minutes past 12 noon. This is Wednesday, November the 5th. It's Jim White, it's Simon Jordan, and it's Danny Murphy, and we are all live on talkSPORT, live on your telly as well, wherever you want to watch us, you can. Samsung, even Prime Video. If you want to watch the show, you can, and many people are doing just that. If you missed it earlier, regard to Celtic job, Martin O'Neill, of course, an interim charge at the moment up in Scotland. He's got a Europa League tie this week. Then it's a small matter of Kilmarnock this weekend. Martin continues on an interim basis, but Craig Bellamy, the Wales manager, has dismissed any chance that he'll be joining the race to be the next Celtic manager. He says, yeah, I played there, but I'm completely focused on what's to come here, and here being the Welsh FA job. He says, it's cliched, but I couldn't want anything else. Celtic not on my radar, and it won't be on my radar. So Celtic continue to look for a permanent manager, it would seem, but Martin O'Neill continues on an interim basis. I wonder, Simon, further down the line, if Martin will start interesting Celtic so much, if he gets win after win, that they'll keep him on until the end of the season.
Well, it gives them a nice problem, which is that they get time to consider all their options, not to act at a pace that is driven by necessity. Of course, they want a manager, but they've gone to Martin because they know that he'll be a steady hand on the tiller. And if he keeps on winning games, he creates an opportunity for himself to be there longer if he wants to be. And he creates a feeling of being able to make sure that every aspect of the ongoing pursuit of a manager is considered so they can get the right appointment without having to have the vigours of what's going on around them needing to be attended to. So Martin gives them a nice... Now, of course, if they start losing games, and there's a distinct possibility they could find a couple of games be very difficult for them to perform in,
right,
then it becomes a different dynamic.
Then it becomes different.
But Martin's is going to be sensible. There's a decent side there, and the opposition that they're playing against are opposition that they can perform against.
Sure. Opposition tomorrow night in the Europa League for Celtic over in Denmark, FC Midtjylland against Celtic. That's a 5:45 kickoff in the Europa League, as I said. No Europe for Manchester United this season, which is extremely strange for many Manchester United fans who are so used to travelling home and away in Europe with their club. And when we think of Manchester United, we think of people in the past like, of course, the standout Cristiano Ronaldo, who has been in a chat, not for the first time, with Piers Morgan on Piers Morgan Uncensored. And various clips are coming out of that chat. And of course, almost inevitably, the subject matter gets round to Manchester United. For someone who achieved so much with the club, is there now something of a strange bitterness from Cristiano Ronaldo towards United? Speaking to Piers, Ronaldo was asked his thoughts on the Ruben Amorim and the job he's doing at United, who last week celebrated 1 year in charge at the club.
He do it to his best. What are you going to do? Miracles? Miracles is impossible. We say in Portugal, miracles is only in Fatima. He's not going to do miracles. Even the players, Manchester United have good players, but they don't have, some of them, the mind what is Manchester United is. Right now, they don't have a structure. I hope that change in the future, present future, because the potential of the club, it's amazing. It's one of the most important clubs of the century.
Miracles. Miracles, Danny. This is what he says is needed. Miracles are impossible. He's not over complimentary about this current Manchester United under Amorim. Does that surprise you?
Well, not really, because up until recently, where they've had a little good run, it's been a failure. So he's only stating the obvious, really. He can't work miracles. No, he's got to do better, and he is doing better more recently, Amorim, with the players they brought in. Things are looking a bit better, but I don't think he said anything there too controversial. United are a massive club, yes, one of the biggest, and they are not punching anywhere near to the weight they should be for the size of the club and the money they make. Are they on the right track? Well, time will tell. Give it a few more games. We'll see where they're at. But they're definitely better in recent weeks. Than
I think so, Simon. I mean, are we in the territory of hyperbole to suggest that Amorim needs a miracle to succeed there?
No, I know. I'm always surprised when Piers does his interviews with Ronaldo that he doesn't bring a smoke machine or dry ice because he blows enough at Ronaldo's backside. Look, it doesn't require a miracle to make Manchester United into a good football team. It requires a good football manager and some proper thinking about recruitment and some reinstalling of the basic disciplines and principles behind what Man United, a great side, once before. And if Amorim's got the chops to do that, then it won't be a miracle that does it. It'll be lots of money and a bit of patience. That's not the same as a miracle. Ronaldo's vitriol towards Manchester United comes with the fact that he wasn't afforded the courtesies and luxuries that he thought he was entitled to. In terms of he was able to do precisely what he wanted because he was such a wonderful player once upon a time. He was brought back to Man United. And this idea that Ronaldo, the last set of interviews with Piers, which is a wonderful get, and Piers is one of the few people that can get it, so I'm not going to be too clever about it, but he was allowed to say things that were clearly that either debatable or misrepresentative about how he had conversations with the club president. No one knows who the club president was because it was the chairman probably he was speaking to, probably Ed Woodward or the other fella. So all of those things went unchallenged, but he was very vitriolic in a way. Let's not forget how he engineered a circumstance by doing the interview with Piers Morgan in the first place to get himself out of a Man United contract because he wasn't happy. So he spent his entire time dumping all over Man United because he didn't feel, in my view, I might be wrong, that he was given the prerequisite amount of courtesy for being Ronaldo.
Yeah. I mean, some of the things he alluded to were actually pretty much on the money. Like the leaky roof at the stadium. This is Manchester United.
Yeah,
like Manchester United has fallen further and further behind.
That's popcorn headlines, cheap media crap. That's not going to be the reasons why they're...
No, it was Ronaldo saying it.
I know, but it's cheap crap from Ronaldo. It's popcorn headlines from Ronaldo.
Yeah, it wouldn't be relevant if they just won the league.
If they're winning games, it would care. It's not about that. So it was an easy get to say, well, the roof's leaking or the training ground isn't, and he hasn't moved on to this, that, and the other.
To be fair to him, it was about standards and upholding those standards, and that's what, in his view, Manchester United has always been about.
And I don't think he upheld the standards of his own conduct when he went there. So I think he wants to turn the fingers that he's pointing to other people back on himself at the time when he was at Man United, because I don't think he covered himself in glory either. Look, the fact is, it's Ronaldo. Ronaldo's got millions of followers. Piers has a digital platform that Ronaldo as a get is going to give him huge numbers. What insight we're going to get, what balanced views we're going to get, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, Ronaldo, of course, in there says what many people say, but I mean, he's certainly in a category that he's allowed to say it. Manchester United, one of the most important clubs of the century, and it's always said, "Oh, this is Manchester United. This is Manchester United." Alan Pardew, speaking to Majestic on the Final Word show last Sunday, said it virtually the same thing, that the Premier League needs Manchester United because this is Manchester United.
For Amorim, I think this is probably what he needed this year, just to sort of work on the team, get his ideas across, sort that energy out in midfield, as you're saying, Jill, and get the striker up and running. And maybe we'll have a Manchester United that we can all be proud of as a country, because, you know, let's be honest, they're still the biggest club in the world.
There's not one football fan in the world other than Man United fans want to be proud of Man United.
Yeah, no, I do. I'm not a Man United fan.
Mate, you are on your own.
I must admit, I'm kind of with Majestic on that one. If you're not a United fan, you don't really give a damn, do you?
No, I think what Alan was probably alluding to is the fact if Man United are successful and powerful and being good again, that it benefits everyone in football. Maybe he's going on that. Well, because it makes it more competitive.
Brand.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, let's have it right. Man United are probably, if not the biggest digital footprint in football, they are one of the biggest footprints. And the reasons why the broadcast deals have appealed so much to the overseas media businesses that
but has the Premier League fallen off a cliff over the last decade because of Manchester United's decline?
No, but Man United.
So that disproves.
But Man United, no, it doesn't, because Man United have been in the conversation for different reasons. If you continue to decline as a brand, if one of your leading brands within the confines of your business doesn't achieve any value going forward over a period of time, it will eventually diminish the overall proposition. Well, unless you're going to put another brand in there that's as equally as appealing.
Yeah, but that's what's happening.
Who?
Well, if you look at, so for example, over
Man City.
Klopp and Guardiola went toe for toe.
Arguably.
Yeah, so Man City and Liverpool went toe for toe. Klopp and Guardiola. That was exciting to the worldwide audience. Can you imagine that was Man U and Liverpool?
How's the Man City brand doing if it loses its 115 charges against it? How's the Man City brand doing when we know that ultimately it's a part and parcel of image laundering?
But you agree with me, you don't say a leading brand forever, do you? Manchester United have no divine right to be called, they're one of the world leaders.
Tell that to Coca-Cola.
One of the big brands.
Tell that to Coca-Cola and to John Lewis or which other brands that we think are leading brands that influence the way people think about certain things. The fact of the matter is that, do I care whether Man United are successful? No, I don't. Do I think that they're a valuable asset to the overall collateral that's driven the opportunity? Of course they are. There's no coincidence.
A valuable asset.
A significant valuable asset.
Yeah.
The primary asset. There's no surprise that when the Premier League started its engines, Man United had been asleep for 26 years. They went and dominated it for the next 5 years. They won 4 of the first 5 Premier Leagues. Because when the big guns rolled in and the real money started coming in, Man United came alive again.
But the big guns stay the big guns. Real Madrid, possibly bigger than Manchester United in terms of a brand, and currently leading La Liga by 5 points from Barcelona. You stay a big brand because of what you do in the pitch.
And look at the league that they play in. And look at the broadcast revenues that they get in that league. And look at Javier Tebas constantly bitching and whining as the chair of La Liga about the power of the English Premier League, which was in part created and seeded by Liverpool, Manchester United, Arsenal, the big 5 that originally created it, which was Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, Man United, and whoever else the third one was, or fifth one was, Everton. But the fact of the matter is that it's undeniable that Man United still get more news than most teams do for being crap than other teams do for being good.
And also they've got such a huge worldwide fan base.
Indeed.
They're not losing them because they've had a few bad years.
But does that make the Premier League better off?
Yes, economically, yes. What's your argument? No,
you don't need Manchester United winning the Premier League title to make it a better Premier League.
Nobody said that. What you need is a thriving Man United, adding
strong
value.
Manchester United.
Yeah, and you haven't had that.
Yeah,
and so I would even Pardew in his most obtuse, which is probably a regular position for him, could argue that people want to see Man United winning the Premier League, or he wants to see Man United winning the Premier League. What you want is the very best brands, the very best version of English football, i.e. its brands, its iconic football clubs, being strong. Because United is a strong proposition, Liverpool is a strong proposition, Arsenal, and also, to be fair, allowing other football clubs like Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa and Newcastle to have a nibble at the top table is important too.
But in the last decade, we've seen record points totals, but we've also witnessed the demise of Manchester United, Hasn't done the Premier League any harm, really, has it?
If you allowed,
answer that.
Yes, because the broadcast deals have gone backwards. So answer that. You've had to give away 30% more product, and
that's not intrinsically linked.
Well, of course it is, because the broadcast deals and the value of the proposition are indexed to the engagement with it. It's also indexed to piracy, of course. But if you want what happened to the Bundesliga to be at one side, like Manchester City dominating it by winning 4 or 5 Premier Leagues, like Bayern Munich have dominated 10 out of the 11 last Bundesligas, you've got a very sterile football framework which will then eventually erode the opportunity, and it won't have the same appeal.
The question is really easy. If Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool go head to head for the next 2 or 3 years and there's a point difference at the end of each season, for example, is that going to create bigger audience views and more interest than United not being in it?
Look at the digital footprint.
Yeah.
Look at the digital footprint of these football clubs, and look at where Man United are, and look at the other football clubs and ask, because the way that the world is right now, it's been digital is the traffic that's driving everything. That's the space. Linear broadcasting is catching a cold. Radio's doing well, but television is not. It's catching a cold. So with that in mind, if you look at the digital footprint of Man United and say, is it a valuable proposition? Yeah, it's one of the biggest digital footprints in football around the world. So pack it in, Jim.
No, I'm not with you on it. I'm not with you. We need a strong Manchester United.
We don't. I think the Premier League commercially would definitely benefit.
Yeah.
And I think from a football point of view, it would be beneficial for the pundits and for fans alike. But no, you don't need it for the Premier League to still thrive and be successful. Would it be more successful if United were doing well? Yes.
You've just said it.
Yes, they would.
You don't need.
You don't need it, no.
No.
Does a successful major brand like Man United add value?
Yeah.
And enhance the proposition?
No one's saying it doesn't add value.
Right, so if it enhances a proposition, if you don't keep enhancing something, eventually you stand still. If you stand still, you go backwards. So yes, it is damaging not to have a major brand like Man United being moderately successful.
Simon, you're talking nonsense. Coca-Cola hasn't changed in quality. Manchester United have.
Some people would say it has.
Well, the fizz has gone out. Manchester United.
Some people would say that by doing Diet Coke in their Coke Zero, they've dilated their own proposition. So it has changed. So what are you on about?
Oh, steady yourself. Do you get into bed at night when your Manchester United jammies on?
No, I don't. But I get into the bed with a coherent argument.
Oh,
even if it's with myself. It's the only thing I get into bed with.
The only option you got, yeah. I was going to say.
Let's put it out there. I mean, to be honest, the argument surrounding Manchester United is that the Premier League needs a strong Manchester United.
Would benefit from
it.
No, no, that's not what we asked.
No, we're not using Pardew as a lightning rod, are we? We're debating it, taking it broader.
Is it crazy to suggest that Amorim needs a miracle to succeed at Manchester United? And also, does the Premier League need a strong Manchester United from a brand point of view? You might want to give us a shout on that one. Simon's wearing his Manchester United badge on his lapel this lunchtime. 03717 223344 810 89. We have been talking, or Simon has been talking more relevantly, about why the Premier League needs a strong Manchester United. James, I like that. So we're saying that if Manchester United aren't strong, then we're going to end up with something like the Bundesliga. City winning the league every year. Well, when United were strong, they won, what, I don't know, 12 plus Premier League titles.
The point being made, that's a reductive argument. I'm talking about...
Since Ferguson left and United declined, the league has had 4 different teams win the league.
Amongst them,
Jordan's argument doesn't quite stack up, does it?
I'm amongst the Morlocks.
Simon, pack it in.
No, but that's not the argument I made, was it, you simpleton? I made an argument about whether it enhanced the brand.
Thank you, James.
That's what I made. That argument.
That
Deal with my argument.
Well, listen. Even if United stay average, the league will still be competitive because you've got other giants in our country. It's not like Germany. You've got Liverpool, giant.
Of course.
Arsenal are getting.
Of course.
Chelsea have been hugely successful in that since Roman took over.
Yeah.
So we will still have different winners. Man City, of course, with the funding they've had.
That's the competitive landscape of the Premier League's football proposition. I'm talking about the commercial proposition.
No, I hear you.
Which underpins it.
Yeah.
That might have evaded Jimbo, but it was the point I was making.
Well, stay with us. I was about to talk about Erling Haaland going in for Manchester City tonight, of course, against Borussia Dortmund. We'll get to that. Stephen's a big Manchester United fan. Stephen, where do you stand on this? As a fan, are you in the camp of, no doubt about it, the Premier League needs a stronger Manchester United than it is now?
Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Simon. Good morning, Danny.
Morning. Hi.
I think, of course, you need a strong Manchester United. All the media bangs on about is Manchester United. For the past 10 years, we've hardly done anything at all, really. We've won a few trophies here and there, but the most media, all it bangs on about is Manchester United. Manchester United is one of the biggest, it is the biggest club in this country, without a doubt.
Yeah, but Stephen, we banged on, to use your words, about Chelsea winning the World Club Championship in the US. We bang on about Arne Slot winning the Premier League with Liverpool at his first attempt.
We don't.
We
talk
bang
about
on
Chelsea
about a bunch
and
of things.
City as much as United.
That's very true, Danny. Well said.
We don't. Man U and Liverpool are always the first time. If there's a big news, when we come in here, I reckon 8 out of 10. If we'd start with United or Liverpool.
That's right, Dan.
All right. Well, listen, Stephen, thanks for joining us. What does Keith, the Arsenal fan, think? Keith, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you all. What a load of nonsense. The Premier League doesn't need Manchester United to be successful. The Premier League is successful on its own. I mean, you had a couple of sugar daddies come in and bankroll the success of Chelsea, Man City. I've never seen anyone around the streets wearing a Man City top before Man City suddenly became successful. The Premier League is successful because of its competitiveness, which is probably more competitive now than it's been since Man United was successful, when it was only Arsenal and Chelsea who would challenge them. And as again, only Chelsea challenged them because of the income and money that was brought in by Roman Abramovich. I find it unbelievable the amount of backside kissing that everyone does to Manchester United.
Yeah, well, you make a good point. We're not saying need. We're saying the Premier League benefits from a successful Manchester
Where do you
United
stand? How do you react, Keith, when somebody says to you about Manchester United, of course, the biggest brand in world football? What's your reaction?
I think it's a joke. At the end of the day, look, you've got basically two teams in Spain, Real Madrid and Barcelona, who are massive, of course. You've got one team in Germany who are massive, which is Bayern Munich. But no one's interested in those leagues. People are interested in the Premier League because you've got so many competitive teams. Anyone can beat anyone on in a day. And I've been around the world. I came back from being abroad last week. And I can tell you that people say to me how much they love the Premier League. And Manchester United does not come into the conversation at all. And I tell you, whoever's successful at the time suddenly gets fans from around the world. Like I said, Manchester City. I've never seen people 20 years ago in Man City tops.
Yeah.
And now you see them.
And when you talk about people backside kissing Manchester United, Keith, you're really suggesting Simon's doing that right now.
No, I'm not suggesting that he does that. I think he makes some very, very good, important points. At the end of the day, Man United are a big club, based, by the way, on the tragedy of Munich. Sorry, not Munich, of the plane disaster. That is where their popularity came from, was people felt sorry for them.
Yeah, but it moved on beyond there, because the Busby Babes were a thing of their own. Then you had the George Bests of the world, and so you had a raft of reasons why Man United are a legacy and heritage football club, and the European Cup winner of '68, and so on and so forth, and Sir Alex and so on and so forth. Yeah. But my argument is not that it needs the Premier League doesn't need anything because it's an entity in its own right. It has benefited from a major brand like Man United, which arguably, alongside Madrid and Barcelona, has the biggest digital footprint in world football.
But here's one for you, Simon, and Keith. And Keith, you can fire in first. Because of Manchester United's decline in the last decade, has the Premier League suffered as a result of it?
No, absolutely not. Like I said to you, Premier League is more competitive now than it's ever been. So many teams are spending money and bringing in the best players around the world. The Premier League is where it's at. No one cares a damn if Man United's successful or not.
So what metric do you measure success by, Keith? So what metric?
Right.
Keith, okay, look at the metrics of measurement of success then. So broadcast deals, besides the overseas broadcast deals, are going backwards. You're giving 30% more games to achieve the same sort of revenues you've achieved in the last broadcast deals. The measurement that you want to look at it, you can look at the Premier League as an abiding success because it continues to generate more revenue than the other leagues, or you can also look at it as saying, there are real challenges. Comcast may not be at the table for the next broadcast bid because they can't afford it, and all of a sudden football has a very difficult landscape. So be careful how much you decry or test to the fact that the Premier League is a roaring success and will continue to be in perpetuity.
Simon, with all due respect, the world economy isn't the best place. Unfortunately, over many years, football has become almost an inelastic product in which you can pay. It doesn't matter how much.
Recession-proof, almost. Yeah.
But there's got to be a limit. And with the world economy suffering, okay, and people getting illegal downloads,
piracies pay the part.
Where there's saturation, and there's too much football, you have supply and demand.
That's rubbish, Keith. You saw the reaction towards the world during COVID when football was the only product in the world. You saw the televisual demand. I don't think it's about overexposure. I think the bigger issue is about piracy.
Listen, Keith, thank you so much anyway for joining us. Keith gave you a good run for your money there.
I know Keith.
Others would probably say that Keith totally tucked you up like a kipper.
And that's fine. It's good to have a good argument with somebody, isn't it? Which is not what I have with you normally.
Thanks so much. Good news coming out of Aston Villa for a great Scottish player, and there are many of them. John McGinn has signed a new contract at Villa Park until the summer of 2028. John McGinn, who, of course, I hope to see in America next summer at the World Cup finals. It's 12:30.
Trent Alexander-Arnold? Who needs him with Liverpool playing like that? Arne Slot is sounding much more positive after that win over Real Madrid. He was impressed with how his side shut out the incredible Mbappe and Vinicius.
Their deep runs, timing of deep runs, their pace is next level. So don't give away any space in behind, and that's what our last line did very well.
Slot also called Conor Bradley's 90 minutes outstanding, while the Daily Mail's Dom King told us last night was one in the eye for anyone doubting Andy Robertson.
He was never finished. Never in a million years was he finished. And every time Andy Robertson has been in the team this year, or whenever, Liverpool are an infinitely better side.
A great night for Spurs as well, and Thomas Frank says Mickey van de Ven can blank him all season if he keeps doing that.
But it seems like we had Lionel Messi turned into Mickey van de Ven. I think he's our top scorer in all competitions, so he can keep going. He can keep, by the way, walking past me if he's angry after a game, if you deliver like this.
Spurs smashed Copenhagen 4-0. Meanwhile, Destiny Udogie is receiving support from Tottenham after he was named as the footballer allegedly threatened by an agent with a gun. And in the Championship, Leicester fans booed their team off again after conceding late in a 1-1 draw with Middlesbrough. There's more at talkSPORT.com.
Well, it's our biggest competition yet, and the lines close at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. This is your last chance to play for your shot towards winning up to 100 grand in cash, tax-free. If you're our lucky winner, you'll be joining us at talkSPORT Towers on Thursday, November the 13th to play for that life-changing cash. Here's how you can enter.
18 plus UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word cash to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission, or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 3338. All entries must be received by the 6th of November at 4 p.m. This is a TalkSPORT limited promotion run on TalkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
Bit of boxing for you this lunchtime, this Wednesday lunchtime. Simon, you'll probably recall back in June, I remember watching it. Callum Simpson picked himself up off the canvas twice before securing a stunning stoppage win over Ivan Zuko in his hometown, Callum's hometown of Barnsley at the Oakwell Stadium. It was a tremendous homecoming for him, and the crowd were with him throughout it. Well, Callum, of course, European super middleweight champion. What is next for him? This morning, it's been announced that Callum will make his first defence of that European super middleweight title against Troy Williamson next month in Leeds. And I'm delighted to say, joining us now live in the show is Callum himself. Callum, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. How are you doing? You all right?
Good, thank you, mate. I remember speaking to you, Simon and I spoke to you before. You fought Zuko at the Oakwell and you did the business that night. What about this news now that you're going to fight Troy Williamson in Leeds next month?
Yes, I can't wait. I've been waiting for quite a while for a confirmed fight date, and it's Troy's a very, very tough fighter, and but I want to prove I'm the next in line in Britain. I'm the next superstar coming through from Britain. So yeah, it's going to be a great title defense and a great fight.
It was quite a night, wasn't it, Simon? When Callum did what he did.
For Callum, for Callum, absolutely, fighting in front of the fans that are local to him. It was a great performance, difficult performance for him. What does Troy Williamson do for you? Whilst he stepped up in weight classes, it doesn't feel like an opponent that you shouldn't be able to overcome, Callum. So what does it do for you, given your world ranking? You're 5 in one sanctioning body, you're 10 in another. What does Troy Williamson add to you in terms of your build towards getting a world title shot, which I'm assuming is your motivation for next year?
Yeah, of course. I think that Troy brings a lot, to be honest. I think he's a very well-schooled fighter, former British champion, IBF European champion, yet the weight below, but he's stepped up now, super middleweight, knocked out Mark Dickinson, the current English champion, who's a very good, again, he was touted to do big things. And yeah, like I said, he's a very well-schooled fighter, and it's going to give me some more puzzles to solve. And, I did have a manager challenger in Kevin Saggio, who pulled out of purse bids. Then I've got a manager challenger of Hamza Shiraz, who's made it public he's not bothered about fighting at the minute. So yeah, this fight got offered to me, and again, it's for me, it's a great fight.
I mean, with respect to Hamza, has he made it public that he's not bothered about fighting for a European title, or that he has bigger fish to fry at world level?
What I've seen is my name's been put to him, and he's just saying he's not bothered about the fight and that he's on to bigger things. So yeah, whether he's not really, hopefully we can get it on for something bigger in the future. Like I said, made public is not bothered about fighting me, so I can't. That's out of my control. His manager's mentioned a few times in interviews my name, saying that I'm the fight next for him, and it'll be a good tick-over fight for him. We've made clear that I want the fight as well, but again, it's boxing, business, politics. If the fighter's not bothered about making the fight, fair play to him. I've got a lot of respect for Hamza. He's a good fighter, and get it on in the future. But we'll see. At the minute, I've got Troy Williamson in front of me.
In front of you, absolutely. When you look at the fact that the super middleweight division has Terence Crawford sitting at the top of it, somewhere along the line, these belts are going to get scattered because he can't hold on to all 4. Is that an opportunity that you see arriving in your space sooner rather than later?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how many fights, if Crawford's going to want one defence, any defence at all. You don't know how many fights Canelo's got. All I can do is just keep busy and keep active. I haven't got time to kind of wait around for people to be pulling out of purse bids. And if a good fight's there to be made for me, then I'm gonna make that fight. But yeah, in next year, I want to be looking for world titles. And you might think that Troy Williamson isn't world level, but it's for me to prove that I am. Yeah. It's for me to prove that I am in my next fight. And again, I've always made clear that I want to win the British outright as well. So this is another step towards doing that. And it's so hard to plan ahead in boxing. I can sit here and say I want to fight for a world title eliminator next, and then fight for a world title next. But that's not, boxing's a very like I said, there's a lot of business and politics going on. So it could be a case of winning the British outright first before the other fights become available. But again, all I can focus on is what's next, and what's next is Troy Williamson, which I believe it's going to be a cracking fight. Obviously, I believe I'm going to win. I believe I'm levels above, but it's for me to prove that.
Troy Williamson apart, Callum, it's got quite personal between yourself and Ben Whittaker in recent months, has it not? Is that a fight you could see happening?
I'd love that fight, but it's not a fight I see happening. I don't think he'd ever take that fight.
You don't think he would take that fight?
No, I think Ben's made it very obvious, not bothered about taking proper fights. If he wanted, I think as a light heavyweight, anyone knows if you're a light heavyweight, Queensberry's got all the light heavyweights. If he wanted proper fights, if he wanted to step up in actual boxing career, he would have gone with Queensberry, and the fights would have been there for him. Look at the show at the weekend, but obviously he's made it clear that he's not bothered about that, is he?
Would you is that a direction of travel for you, Callum? Light heavy.
Eventually, yeah. I've got a lot to do at sub middleweight first. Yeah. I want to win. But yeah, I could fight at light heavy now, to be honest. Like I always said to my coach, I just move up and have a fight there or make this fight. But yeah, he wants me at super middle. I've got a lot to do at super middle. But yeah, I'll definitely move up to super middle before my career's done, 100%.
Callum, thanks for giving us the first reaction to the news that your first defence of your European Super Middleweight title is against Troy Williamson next month in Leeds. It is now Wednesday lunchtime, I'm delighted to tell you, as we approach 1 o'clock. Stay with us. Interesting night tonight. Manchester City host Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. It's live on talkSPORT, incidentally. And that means Erling Haaland going in against the team that he left 3 years ago. When he came over from Germany, everybody thought this guy can score goals. But my God, we couldn't have expected this. £51.2 million he cost Manchester City. Scored 86 goals in 89 games in Germany. This season, Haaland has already scored 26 and 16 appearances for club and country. His total being a mind-boggling 141 goals in 159 games across all competitions thus far. And in the build-up to this game, Pep has thrown something else in about Erling Haaland. Don't forget his humbleness.
It's difficult to find a real world-class player or start to be incredible humble and thinking what is the best for the team. I know he want to score goals. The impact he knows, because the way he's scoring goals helping the team. But I had the feeling that I always have an eye what is the best for the team. And when that's happened, it's difficult to find. When a goal-scorer players have this kind of ability or the talent, or I would say generosity or kindness or whatever you want to say. And Erling is like that. It was a surprise. Honestly, we normally strikers just thinking goal.
Danny, humbleness, is that a rare trait in a goal scorer, and especially a prolific goal scorer such as Erling Haaland?
Yeah. Most strikers, I mean, I don't know him, but most strikers, you win a game and they don't score, they're still not happy.
Was Michael Owen humble?
Michael would be fuming if we won and he didn't score. Put it that way. In terms of him bragging about himself, he wouldn't do that. He was very quiet. He got on. He's a family lad, and he got on with it and didn't.
I would have thought it'd be the other way around. Michael would be fuming if he scored and you didn't win.
Well, I mean, it depends. If you're in the semi-final of a cup game and you need to get to the final and we won and he didn't score, he wouldn't be as bad. But generally, his focus was on how many goals am I going to score and how am I going to impact the game. There's a difference between humility on the pitch and off it. You know, the way you conduct yourself. Thought Michael off the pitch was brilliant at that stuff. He was a superstar worldwide at 17, 18, and you wouldn't know it. He's still a normal lad. Come round and have a game of darts or whatever, you know. Haaland, I like all I see of him is on the pitch, and he is a team player. He'll always go to someone who's assisted him, or he'll do his work defensively. He's heading balls out of his own box. He's celebrating with everyone. He doesn't. Very rarely have I seen him whinge too much and throw his arms in the air when Pep brings him off when he scored 2 and there's 15, 20 minutes left and he wants a hat-trick. You know, we saw Salah and Klopp have so many, you know, Salah moody when he was left out of the game the other week under Slot. So I think Pep's got
a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's worked with the best one, really. I mean, you think of Messi's success.
I mean, all these accolades, Simon, and all his wealth, and he's still a young lad. You know,
off the pitch, I don't know.
Should he be applauded if indeed Pep is on the money here, that he is humble?
Depends what you mean by humble. I mean, football has this propensity to co-opt statements and turn them into something different than their real meaning to most people. You know, when people talk about, we've got to go into a game and suffer, I think to myself, I don't know why you keep using that terminology, because people in the world are legitimately suffering. So when football co-opts an expression, I don't think he's humble in the slightest. I think he might be respectful. I think he might be mindful of the fact that he's playing for probably not arguably, realistically, the greatest manager in football at this moment in time. I think he's playing in a great football club that's given him a huge opportunity. When we talk about his transfer fee, £51 million may well be what they paid to Dortmund because it was engineered in the contract that Haaland would sign, as long as the release clause was sensible. But it's about another 30-odd million quid that went everywhere else, including to his father. So the fact of the matter is there's a lot more money that got spent on Haaland than just the 51 million quid that was paid. And when you talk about humble, if you want to define it, okay, when Haaland, you know, does an observation on Arteta last year about remaining humble. Was that an indication of humbleness? When Haaland does a TV commercial, I know it's tongue-in-cheek, telling everyone that I'm signing a new contract, watch out, defenders. Is that humble? I think this idea that humility, just because you've made a few quid, just because you can kick a football round, doesn't make you that special, doesn't make you beyond everyone else, besides in the little rarefied industry where everyone gets smoke blown up their backside. Do I think he's humble? Not particularly. Do I think he's a wonderful footballer that respects the opportunity that's been given to him and plays in a team and values being in a team? Yeah, I do. I think all of those things are. And those are attributes that need to be praised because everyone else doesn't do that.
Here's one message coming in. He wasn't that humble with Lewis Skelly. when he said, "Who are you?"
You can always find an example of not being the case. But as a footballer, with the amount of talent he's got and the level and the amount of rubbish that these footballers get told about how important they are, it's difficult to keep that perspective in the real world of actually you're just a bloody footballer.
Yeah, I think humble may be not the right appropriate word to use, but I think in a world of prima donnas and egotistical superstars, he's quite on a pitch. As I say, I don't know off.
I suppose he's humble by standards like Donald Trump. Sort of. If Donald Trump is the benchmark for not being humble, then by definition, Erling Haaland is the benchmark.
He certainly, for a super goal scorer, he does differ from others in terms of his actions on the pitch. He does work for the team. He does celebrate everyone.
I tell you, he should be humble. He's bloody barber.
Huh? Yeah.
Maybe he's unselfish, Danny. You know that's maybe I mean, nobody knows him better than Pep Guardiola, probably at this time.
So is his dad.
But I like things like even the interview the other day where someone mentioned Ronaldo and Messi, and he was just like, no. You know.
Well, on that, actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. He dismissed any idea that he's anywhere near the levels of Messi and Ronaldo. When that was put to him, this was Erling on that.
When we're asking managers about you, the words and the names that keep coming up in the same conversation are always the likes of Messi and Ronaldo, the very best players in the world. Do you see yourself at the level of those players?
No, not at all. Far off. No one can get close to them too. So no, I can't think about records I can break, and that's the last thing I think of. I try to help the team. Help the team win football games. That's my job, and that's my main focus. You know, I know it's boring. I know you want me to say the completely opposite, but it's not how it is.
Fair enough, and he has a laugh about it. So I like that.
I think what you've seen this season with Erling Haaland is a level of maturity.
Yeah.
I think he's asserting himself in a more leadership position.
Absolutely.
I think he's more mature in the way that he plays on the field. He is not the same. It was like this time last year, Roy Keane was saying his build-up play was commensurate with a League One player.
Yeah, but it wasn't through like a try-in.
I know, but what we're talking about, when you draw the parallel between Messi and Ronaldo, you know, you can't draw the parallel because he's a goal scorer. That's what he does. That's his primary function in life. He's Gerd Müller. He's not someone that deals with much more than scoring goals.
The other thing as well is, I don't know if you found this in people you know, friends, but the amount of Scandinavian footballers I played with, you know, it's a trait in all of them. They are down to
humility.
Yeah, Norwegian, Swedish, Danish. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of one.
Zlatan.
Good shout. Yeah, good shout.
One.
But I didn't.
Henrik Larsson.
Your one.
Henrik Larsson was not backward at coming forward either.
Yeah, true.
On the pitch, he was a team player, and he wasn't played against him. He wasn't one of those. Yeah. Didn't give it that.
Of course, Thomas Brolin was very gregarious in fast food restaurants.
What we mustn't forget, Danny, is that Simon himself has got a bit of history with
He's probably got
Erling Haaland.
Friends
when Erling spotted that Simon was trying to take a picture of him on his phone when they were playing paddle tennis. Was that right? Did Erling spot that and came over and give you a smack?
That's what happened, yes.
I like that, Jim.
You were trying to take a picture.
That's called sensationalism.
No, I let him have it. If it makes him feel happy, if an old man can go shuffling off a radio show feeling happy at the end of the day, I'm happy for him.
Haaland, he's got a lot more in him. There's a lot more juice in the tank, is there not? He's only 25, Danny. I mean, that is the crazy thing about it. I mean, who knows what he's going to end up, where he's going to end up,
do you think,
and what kind of record he'll end up with.
Do you think he'll be here? Because he asked a question about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was framed in a question of, will he beat Alan Shearer's record of goals? And I didn't think he'd be here to achieve it. He will beat it if he stays over maybe another 3 or 4 years. I think he'll be gone.
I think if Pep goes, he'll go.
Yeah.
That's my feeling.
So he won't.
Where would be the next port?
It doesn't matter.
Madrid.
Yeah, Madrid, Barca. It doesn't really matter because wherever he goes, he'll score the same amount of goals.
Yeah, Madrid or Barcelona, they are huge brands in world football.
Indeed they are. Indeed.
Yeah. Barca's a good shout.
Unfair brands, really, because they didn't want to share the TV revenues like Man United prepared to do.
Yeah. Jim, I like that. The one message sender is saying there, I remember when Simon tried to get... I remember that moment and Erling spotted you with your phone.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, great. He obviously thinks he's alighted upon something. Like most things with Jim, it has no accuracy attached to it or any substance behind it.
How lovely. Simon, unfortunately for me, I shall see you in the morning at 10. Danny, magnificent today.
Yeah, it was good.
From everybody here at talkSPORT, thanks for your efforts last night on co-coms at the Tottenham game.
No problem.
And apologies from British Transport Police for that dreadful drive home.
Yep.
It's 1 o'clock.